What's going on? Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Happy Thursday, everybody. We got a lot to discuss. Appreciate everybody for hanging out in the chat. Get those questions loaded in. We'll do some mailbags today. 2 mailbags coming up because we're actually off on Monday for President's Day. So we're going to do an extra mailbag today. So if you got questions, we will get to them here on today's show. So let us know where you guys are tuning in from. A lot of FGBs in the chats. Bringing the good vibes early. So I could definitely appreciate that. Shout out to Jose, Dizzy, Gianna, Jeff, everybody else hanging out, Looney, Jarek, Prometheus, the real ones, always showing up, showing out. Leak so cold. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go, let's go. It's live.
Unity says, Harry, I must I introduce myself day 4, brother? I don't know what you mean by that.
We'll see. Sometimes the @ may be different than the actual YouTube name, so maybe it is somebody you're aware of. We'll see. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We'll give them shout-outs while we're letting our software kind of load in here. We've got Christopher from Chicago. We got Spencer from Arizona. Wyatt from Alton, Illinois. Someone says, got to take Myles Garrett. I put it in the chat in our poll question if you guys want to participate. Who is your dream Bears trade target? I put Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, or others. So comment below if you would like somebody else other than those two. Harry, do you have a preferred trade target for the Bears?
I mean, if all things were equal, I'd probably pick Myles Garrett, but I don't think he's going to be available. I think there's a decent chance Crosby is. Depends on the trade return they want. Those are 2 ones to watch. Danielle Hunter is interesting to me if he becomes available because I don't think he would cost as much, but he's still a very good player. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to get into a trade discussion today. Adam Schefter hinting that there could be some more trade activity this offseason. So stay tuned for that. You guys let me know. Prometheus says Garrett.
Someone's saying Derek Brown. It's a name we haven't talked about on the show.
Yeah, good player. Not really a pass rusher, though.
No.
I don't think I'd trade notable capital for a defensive lineman that's a run stopper first.
Yeah.
They need defensive tackles that can stop the run better, too, but I'd rather get a more disruptive player.
Maybe somebody for cheap in the draft, too.
Yeah. Good run-stopping defensive tackle draft.
Yes. If nothing else.
There's a lot of those.
There's a lot. Max is prone to injuries. I'm seeing Mad Max, seeing Crosby, seeing Myles Garrett from our guy Wasim.
Let me ask you guys this. Would you rather trade 2 ones in a player for Max Crosby or 1 and like a middle round pick in a player? Sorry, 2 ones in a player for Myles Garrett or a middle round pick and a player for Max Crosby? I think that's the interesting question because clearly Garrett would fetch more right now in a trade. He didn't enter the offseason with an injury. Coming off the best year of his career. He's a couple years older, but I still think he would fetch more than Crosby.
Will Anderson Jr., someone says.
Yeah, see, that's why I mentioned Danielle Hunter because the Texans are keeping Will Anderson Jr., but would they move off of Hunter, try to get something for him, knowing that they're going to pay Will Anderson Jr.? I think that's the interesting thought. All right, guys, we announced this yesterday, put up a community post as well. 25% off the entire merch shop, chatsports.com/Bears shop. I don't know. I didn't make a link for that, but we'll put that in the chat for you guys. Chatsports.com/Bears shop, including the all-new St. Patty's theme Chicago drinking team shirts. Chatsports.com/Bears shop. That's 2 S's, Bears, and then shop. Bears shop. Pretty easy to remember. Chatsports.com/Bears shop. We'll show some of the other gear in a minute. Colin's putting the link in the chat for you guys. But the Chicago drinking team, the St. Patty's Day gear, the Iceman, my hoodie and shirt just came in today, actually. I'll probably be rocking it tomorrow here on the show. Of course, we got the Iceman gear available. Just some of plenty of our gear for you guys. 25% off. So if you've been on the fence and like, I'm not sure, well, Best deal we've ever offered, 25% off through Monday. Got the Our Turn, the shredding of the cheese in there as well, the FGB. You can get your last-minute Valentine's stuff. It's not going to get there by Valentine's Day, but it could still be a good late Valentine's Day gift that is still ageless throughout the year. So check it all out. It's available. The Cardiac Bear stuff is still in there also. Even the Took the North line is available. Everything we've ever put out, 25% off. Chatsports.com/Bears shop. Take advantage. Limited time only. Okay, TJ, long live the Iowa Bears. Yeah, they're not going to Iowa. Respect the state of Iowa for taking a swing here, but they're not going to Iowa. I do think they're going to stay in Illinois. The Indiana thing is real, but I think they end up locking something in with the state of Illinois, and they build on the Arlington Heights property. That's where I think this ends.
It is kind of crazy. Like, once Iowa got involved, it feels like, all right, like, Indiana, that's one thing. The Bears are never going to move to Iowa.
It's not. Indiana's one thing because Chicago is literally, like, on the border of Illinois and Indiana.
Right.
Like, you could build a stadium in Indiana and be, like, 10 minutes from Chicago. So, it's a little different.
A little bit.
Just a little different.
All right, we got Jordan. So he was the guy, the Unity guy. Harry, must I introduce myself? Day 4, brother. I don't know if you know what Jordan, perchance.
What do you mean by this, Jordan? I'm a little confused.
I don't know if he's chatted in the chat. I don't know if he's said anything, or if you're still watching, Jordan.
Day 4, brother. Must I introduce myself?
The Oklahoma drill, my friend, is what he said.
Is that like some social media reference that I'm just out of the loop on? I know what Oklahoma drill is, but
is that from like a?
Did he challenge me to something 4 days ago and I just missed it?
I'm here for the long haul, he says. I'm like, again, I'm a little lost as well too. It's day 4 of asking you to do the Oklahoma drill on video.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Maybe they've been in the comments and we've missed it.
Since you said you're taking
suggestions. That's right. I did put out video ideas. I must have just not seen that one. Oh, gosh. I'm not trying to get concussed. So I have thought about some different ideas. Let me just throw this out there. I don't think – I'll even put a poll on this. And, look, I haven't talked to Cullen about this. I haven't talked to the bosses around this. But part of my job at Chat Sports, I am the VP of Programming Growth. So my mind is always thinking, okay – what else can we do with some of our content, our channels? How can we grow even more? So I'll just throw this out there. You guys give me a simple yes or no. And no hard feelings either way. I'm not going to take anything personally. Would you be interested in this? I'm going to put this out.
I didn't even talk to anybody about this, so this is news to me too. Whatever this is.
All right. So I just put the poll out. Would you be interested in a Bears Now extra YouTube channel? So you see a lot of these content creators and when their channels get bigger, they create second channels. Why? To just put different types of content out, just fun stuff. And some thoughts I had be some behind the scenes content. We've got Papa Shot in the office. Maybe Cullen and I do a Papa Shot series. Just fun stuff. Maybe extra segments from our live shows when we're just shooting the shit. Just publish that on the Bears Now extra channel. Just little different extra content. Nothing would change on the main channel. It would just be literally that extra, stuff that just leaks out and doesn't make the cut for the main channel. Would you be interested? Would you watch stuff like that? If not, that's fine. But would anyone be interested in it? Someone says extra Chat Sports, not just Bears Now. Well, I think we would try it on some of our bigger channels, and if it does well, we would expand it to other ones. So just something I've been thinking about a little bit. Who knows? Maybe I stream Madden on there, and you got, stuff like that. Just different types of content than we do on our main channel because, playing the YouTube game, you don't want to necessarily mess with your bread and butter too much on our main established channel, but experiment with other content on the other channel. So just a thought, just an idea. If that's something you're interested in, it might be something I run by the bosses, especially when the offseason slows down and just
someone says if it includes blooper or bloopers, I guess.
I think that's fun ideas too. Like best bloopers from the month. Bears Now bloopers from month of February. Like whatever it is. It could be literally anything. Maybe Cullen and I have like a 5-minute debate during a live show, which we do all the time, just random NFL and Bears content. And like it wasn't something we planned to put on the show on the normal channel, but he maybe during the show he's like, "Oh, this is good," and he like writes a timestamp down, and we just splice it up, throw it on the other channel, stuff like that. Like it could literally be anything. Yeah, I still do forverts. Yeah, player interviews, I would put that on this channel. That's something I'd like to do at some point. That would go on this channel.
I'd be something that could be again really interesting. I mean, I don't know what all it would entail, but it would just be kind of like, from what you're saying, it's just kind of like an extension of what we do already.
The word extra is the best way I can describe it. It's not really that much planned content. There wouldn't probably be a consistent publishing schedule, especially at first. It could be literally anything. Like I said, like maybe we sign off a live show and I'm like, oh, remember that random thing we debated for 3 minutes after the first Q&A? Let's put that on the extra channel. Stuff like that. Like it would just be like loose, less formal content. So
I feel like we could try it out.
Just an idea I've had. All right, Robert Ratcliffe with the 50. Shout out, Robert. He says, sending love to my boys, Harrison and Cullen. Congrats on the Super Bowl win. Cullen, bear down. Another example could have been like Cullen slamming a beer inside Levi's Stadium after his Seahawks won the Super Bowl. Bears Now producer celebrates at Super Bowl 60. Could have gone on the extra channel.
Could have been.
You know what I'm saying?
Could have been. I don't know how many Bears fans would have watched that, but I'll just say this just for this specific super chat. I'm always just telling Harry this, and I kind of just wanted to say this real quick. I've been blown away by the amount of positive, support and kind words that I received, even though it has nothing to do with the Chicago Bears. Messages I've gotten from Instagram and on YouTube comments and all this, that, and the other. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate you guys. You've embraced me as the producer here, even though I'm not, a Bears fan per se, and just want to say thanks. Really appreciate all the kind words, so thank y'all.
Yeah, shout out to you guys. I think that's a testament to Cullen connecting with the audience and you guys showing support. So good vibes only, baby. Good vibes only.
So thank you, Robert.
Shout out Robert and everybody else. Cash with the 5. Who's an edge we can get for a second or third round pick? Like in a trade? I do want, I think Danielle Hunter, could you get him for a second? I don't think I'd trade a first for him because he's a little bit older, but I would probably trade 57 for Danielle Hunter. Wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
Give him a 1 or 2 year extension. He's got 1 year left. Maybe give him 1 or 2 years, and you have him for a couple years. I mean, he had 15 sacks this year. He's still really freaking good. So,
I like that idea from Carrick. Could you all post Cullen's draft crushes on the extra channel?
Great idea.
Could be.
Be just whenever we film that during live, it just goes on the extra channel.
Boom. So, Harry, what happened to Rolly? He still works here, guys.
He's a full-time host now.
Yeah.
He's our he's South Beach Rolly.
Yeah. Mr. 305.
Heat channel, Dolphins channel. He also does some NBA content on our main chat sports channel.
Busy man. I hardly, to be honest, ever see Rolly. He is hard at work.
Yeah, we have so many employees now, which is cool. But we have 2 bullpens, and he's in the other bullpen now. I used to sit right next to him, and now I'll go literally weeks, I feel like, without seeing him sometimes.
Literally. I mean, he's consistently working, doing a lot of really good work over there. But yeah,
that's another thing on the extra channel. I just go across the hall and hey, Rolly, quick pop a shot. Boom.
Yeah. Little something. I think Bears fans would be
pop a shot tournament on the extra channel.
Yeah, Bears Now fans, I think, would love to see Rolly on the channel again.
Be fun. And you could just do little quick we have this setup in my studio here with 2 chairs, just random really debates. Bring someone in, just set up a camera and film it, talk for 5 minutes, boom, publish it.
Yeah,
it would be really easy type of content that doesn't require as much planning.
Yeah. It'd be very
now extra.
It'd be very much casual, whereas with these segments that we do on live, we try to make sure they're, high quality, really well thought out.
Yeah, a lot of the work we publish, or really all of it for the most part, is stuff that we do more work before filming and after, whereas the filming would be the work, really. Like that it would be laxed.
Be very laxed.
I think it'd be fun. Real Adventures. Appreciate the 2. Why zero talk on John Franklin Myers? I think I've mentioned him once, but yeah, not much. I just think he's going to be a guy that is going to get massively overpaid.
Yes.
Because he's really the only good pass rushing defensive tackle that's hitting free agency.
Yeah.
And guys like that, good player at premium position with not a lot of other ones available, guys like that get overpaid.
So remember last year where I remember we were talking about this leading up to free agency. Drew Dahlman, for example, for the Bears. He was by far the best center on the market, and the Bears were looked at as a team, among others, that were looking to sign Drew Dahlman. He ended up not signing for as much as I think that we thought he could get.
Yeah, he kind of signed for like the floor of what I thought his range would be.
Mm.
Like I remember there was a projection like the week before free agency of like 18 a year. I was like, oh God, I don't think I would do that. And then you got him at 14 a year. And then it was later reported, I think he may have even said this, that he had a bigger offer elsewhere and he took less to come here, which is pretty rare. But yeah, I just feel like a guy like that in his late 20s, he's going to look to cash in.
He will. And I think, listen, there's some other guys, but to your point, that do it all, right? Give you that pass rushing inside from the interior, but also can defend the run. Like, he is just head and shoulders above every other defensive tackle.
He could also play some edge, too. He's like 285, so you can put him at edge. I think DA would love him, but I mean, it might be like a 4 for 80 type of deal. I just don't know if I can go that far. Like, if you told me he kept up this production, like, I'd probably be okay with it. But, like, I just worry with a guy like this playing with so many good players around him. Like, if he goes to some random team, is he just like an average player? Like, I don't know. I'd be a little nervous on that one.
Very fair.
Prometheus, smash the like and show some love. By the way, we can hit Franklin Myers in one of the Q&As. I think that's cool. A good topic there.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Prometheus. You heard the man. Hit that like button. We appreciate it. Cornell, appreciate the 5. Remember the Falcon fan that was in the chat the other day being quiet? I literally said, Cullen was sitting right there. I literally said, I wonder if we're going to see D Nasty today after the James Pierce debacle. Because he said that was such a great trade. And listen, like, I didn't know the guy was going to get arrested, but he had major red flags coming in, and you traded back into the first round and gave up a future first. Like, tough look for D Nasty, but maybe he's watching. Pierce had a great year, and we'll see what happens, but there were major concerns. There's a reason he fell to 26 when he was clearly – I mean, we saw him play this year. He was great. He was a top 10 talent in that draft, but he fell for a reason.
He did. It just goes to show, listen, sometimes with certain situations, it's best to kind of think things through before you speak or type out something.
And listen, I'm all for being challenged, but, I thought he came a little aggressive. That's all.
A little aggressive.
Wasim. Bear down, FGB, watching the Olympics. Incredible athletes go USA. Have you seen the new sport where dudes take a running start and collide? That has been circulating on my Twitter algorithm. I mean, you have to be psychotic. You're like running into a brick wall. These guys are built. They're like 5'10", 260. Units. And they're just units. It's crazy, man. I don't know if that's going to gain steam, but that's CTE. That's CTE built into 10 seconds, if I've ever seen it.
Very much so. Yeah, not a long shelf life with that career.
Yeah. Cash in while you can. Wow. I have seen it, though. Vincent, Madden tenure, Cleveland Browns, rebuild Rule 1, Sanders is your starting QB all 10 years. You talking about like content I should do? I don't know if
a certain person in the office that would.
Yeah, JOD could do it. He would do it. He's probably doing it just for fun. Yeah, that's interesting. Tom with the $11 super chat. I love it. What about subscribers DM Harrison photos of their Bears games viewing setups? Then you pull up the photos on live stream and we all rate the setups. live, then it becomes a video. Sure. More like interact, you guys, more content where you guys get involved. Yeah, I think that would be good. Like, based on the content we do, I don't think if I publish that on our main channel, it would necessarily like compete with some of our other videos in terms of engagement and audience, but that'd be a great extra video, I think. So it's just, the brain's spinning a little bit. I've been thinking about ideas. Prometheus, you're a champion, Cullen. 2-time champion in the last 12 months. How does it feel to have 2 banners in the last 12 months?
Feels pretty good, not going to lie. Feels pretty good. I will say it's pretty surreal to see both of them in person. Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. I truly hope, like I've said this before, I hope every sports fan gets to experience, at least to whatever degree, like, if you're a bigger NFL guy or NBA or whatever the case may be, I hope everyone gets the opportunity to one day maybe see their team win a championship in person, because it was truly, like, unbelievable.
10 minutes ago, the judge in the Trinidad Chambliss case has returned from his chambers.
But thank you, Prometheus. Piece is a lie. Do you think the Kayvon Thibodeau trade rumors are legit? What do you think the price would be if he's half the trade price of Crosby, younger, potential to be elite? That might be a stretch. Seems like a great opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, we got 4 years of data with him now. I think he's a good, not great player. I don't think I would trade I think I would trade a third for him at most. I don't think I'd do a first. I'm definitely not doing a first. I don't think I'd do a second, because you're going to have to pay him too. He's entering his 5th-year option. So if you trade for him, you're going to commit to keeping him. So, 89 for Kayvon Thibodeau, he would certainly help. He's a good player, was really good against the run this year. His pass rushing prowess is kind of hit and miss, but he is a good player. I do think he would fit the DA mold. He's a big physical defensive end. So, but yeah, as far as potential to be elite, I don't know. I don't think edge rushers in year 5 all of a sudden like go from solid to all pro. Doesn't mean he can't improve. Doesn't mean he can't get better. And first of all, I haven't actually seen much Kayvon buzz. Now, there were at the deadline, because they obviously have 3 good edge rushers with Brian Burns. They just drafted Abdul Carter and then Kayvon Thibodeau. So there was some thought Tibbs could be the odd man out if they don't want to pay him. But
Abdul Carter, not somebody you necessarily can bank on, given the reports, maybe, given the season. Like,
yeah, I mean, I would think John Harbaugh gets in there. Like, it seemed like at the end of the season that situation was a little more under control, but they're not going to trade him. It would come down to if they want to pay Thibodeau or not. And if they don't, then I would trade him if I was Joe Shane. So what would you trade for him just in a vacuum? 3rd-round pick?
If that.
Third or fourth?
Because, again, the age, like, you'd have to consider it. But to your point, like, are you getting even a 2? Like, he's probably a solid 2 on a ideal pass rush.
Yeah, I think he's a number 2 edge on most defensive lines.
So I can't, to be honest, like, I just can't give up a third unless I'm like, hey, he clearly, like, we've got one edge that's already solidified as a number 1. Add in Thibodeau, and it's, makes the defensive line complete. Sure, you could talk me into a third, but
see what some of the advanced numbers show this year. He only had 2.5 sacks, but right at a 10% pressure rate, so not great. He had his best year of his career as a run defender.
Let me ask you all this while Harry's kind of looking this up, because I see a lot of people talking about the Bears Now Extra channel. What content would you most like to see on a hypothetical channel like that? Just anything.
You know how a couple years ago we did the Madden streams and we didn't do it last year? I don't think we'd do streams, but, like, what if, like, Cullen and I, like, what if we played each other in Madden or something like that? Or what if I, like, simulated a Madden season or something? Just random shit like that.
Yeah. Or it could be,
Joey Peterson. I could show the Packers fan crash outs on Bears Now Extra. That could be good. That could do well.
Good. It could. It would, or maybe you're just reacting to Packers fans crash outs.
Reaction channel. All FGP content. Yeah, I mean, one thing you could, this honestly could be a thing. During the season when the Packers, lose, you could just do, I could just grab the clips from the Packers stream, because we own it here at Chat Sports. It's all under the same umbrella. And I just laugh at Joey's reactions. The peak would do well.
Yeah, I would. I think it would do well. It would.
Perspective of different guys in the office on the Bears. Yeah, see, that's easy. That's just grab a camera, walk around.
Yeah. See all the work I'm not doing during the day.
I mean, honestly, the amount of just bullshit we're just yelling across the room about, you could just set up a camera and publish that type of stuff.
The legit conversations that go on in the Chat Sports bullpens can range on so many different levels just based on the topics we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's honestly one of the more fun things that it is about working here, to be honest.
I could also do during the season just the Monday or the Sunday of Bears fan, best call of the game or something like that, and just put that over there. A longer version than the shorts we normally do. Or maybe it's highlights.
Highlights, I like that. His crash outs losing to the Bears were the best for mine. I'm talking about Joey.
Yeah. Poor Joey.
Day in the life, maybe? A little,
vlog type of stuff?
Yeah. Life of HG.
Anything's possible.
Yeah. Might have to make a video where you kind of tease that and get some, full comments of hey, let us know. What would you like to see? Give some ideas maybe. And
what I could do if we did launch this is publish a short video on this channel and be more to come. Go subscribe to the Bears Now Extra channel.
Yeah. Could be something.
We're live brainstorming here. This is what we do.
Yeah, we're always thinking of ways.
We're content creators, baby.
That we are.
Adapt or die.
TJ, what happened to being able to call into the show? Maybe that's something.
Yeah, that was discussed, and probably did a poor job on following through on that. That's something. One thing, if I could if YouTube came to me and was hey, what is one thing you would recommend? I think it would be building in to their live software a call-in function that if the streamer wants to activate that, they can, and then the viewer in the live chat can just click the button to call in, and it just creates a waitlist line.
Yeah.
And you, the producer, whoever's running the stream, can just go to that person.
Yep.
That seems like a pretty easy thing they could add.
The thing is, too, is and I'm just, again, we're live talking this through. Not necessarily always the best idea to have an unfiltered somebody calling in, because based on what YouTube allows. And
yeah, I mean, if some dude called in and
said something that was not,
or his naked wife's in the background, that'd be a problem.
Right.
That'd be a problem. So
right. So it would have to definitely be well thought out in terms of that stuff. But you never know.
Robert, appreciate the 10. Who wins in the stream game? Cullen, Super Bowl winning Seahawks versus Duck Coach Mike Ditka. I have Ditka winning by 3 TDs, bear down.
So
talking about 85 Bears.
Yeah, 85 Bears versus this Seahawks team. The 85 Bears would
It's
win.
so yeah. I mean, I think in terms of the context of the history of the sport, the 85 Bears are a top 3 to 5 team of all time. Probably the best defense ever. It's always hard to compare eras, though, because athletes these days are just so much more explosive.
Yeah.
But I think if you're factoring in sports science evolution and all that, there's not many teams that are beating the 85 Bears.
To me, the more interesting conversation would be 2013 Seahawks, that Legion of Boom team, given the kind of transition.
Yeah. That'd be
that's
a good game.
That would be the more interesting conversation. And again, to your point, what era are we playing? What are the rules?
Yeah.
I mean, because again, the 85 Bears, I mean, just compared to 2013 Seattle. I mean, the amount you were able to get away with back then in '85 versus 2013,
yeah.
It's
who do you think out of those Seahawks teams?
What do you mean?
Like if this team played the Legion of Boom team?
The Legion of Boom team was better.
Legion of Boom.
I respect Witherspoon. Darnold obviously clearly elevated.
Russ was great though back then too.
I mean, you had multiple Hall of Fame borderline guys. Like Cam Chancellor probably won't get in. He was one of the greatest safeties of his era. Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman, and I respect Witherspoon and everybody, but this Seahawks team felt more of a collection of a unit.
Yeah.
Where again, and so was the Legion of Boom, but the Legion of Boom had the star power that I don't know if this team quite has, but
I also think the NFL that year was probably a little stronger at the top than it was this year.
For sure.
Like the AFC, how many teams out of the NFC would have beaten the Patriots? I think at least 3 or 4.
Good amount.
The Seahawks, that game was not even as close as the score suggested. The Rams absolutely beat the Patriots.
Yep.
I think the Bears beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
A slightly healthier 49ers team, I think, beats the Patriots. Now, maybe not the rundown injured one.
For sure.
And this isn't downplaying the Seahawks. I think my point is, I think the Super Bowl was Rams Seahawks. I do. I think the winner of that game was going to win the Super Bowl, and that happened pretty easily. So
yeah. Cam Chancellor, by the way, Ben.
He's your favorite Hawk of all time?
All time. Love Cam.
Gotta respect the way he played the game, for sure.
Yeah. And listen, I mean, back then, too, that 2013 team going against that Broncos team, at the time, I mean, they were number 1 in NFL history in terms of, points per game, yards per game, or most total yards. It was...
And Peyton was in jail.
Yeah.
Or in hell. That's
he was.
The phrase.
From the opening snap, when Manny Ramirez snapped it over his head and they scored 12 seconds into the game. That being said...
Does that 14 Seahawks team... I know they didn't win it all, but they should have. Does that team clear this Seahawks team?
So that team was more beat up towards the end. At full strength, I'd probably say that's more of a closer call because they did lose some just kind of overall burst.
Well, not everyone was a year older on the defense.
But, I mean...
A lot of wear and tear from the year before.
That would have been a more conversation, probably still lean that way. I mean, in that game alone, Earl Thomas had a shoulder injury. Cam Chancellor had an MCL that he literally injured the week of the Super Bowl. Richard Sherman was dealing with an injury. So, that 13 team was special.
One of the best teams of this century.
Yeah. 14 was great. Again, 85 Bears, you could argue between those two. But still, this 2025 team, you could debate them or 14. But I'd probably still lean slightly 14.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. And again, maybe looking back on it, it's a different conversation, but
yeah.
But yeah, 85 Bears to answer this question specifically.
Yeah, I mean, is Jim McMahon is he a better player in the modern era? I would argue probably yes. With the new rules. He was kind of just a game manager in the 80s era of football, but Walter Payton is just as good in this era. He's era proof.
Yeah. Love Kenneth Walker. He's no Walter Payton.
No.
He's not.
Yeah, and this Seahawks defense is special. The 85 defense clears.
Yeah. 2013, 85, we can have maybe that's a discussion on the extra channel. Just kind of breaking down that hypothetical matchup.
Yeah. Yeah, because I would say those are 2 of the 5 best defenses ever. 85 Bears, 13 Seahawks.
Steel Curtain, 2000 Ravens, maybe the Buccaneers team under Gruden.
Yeah.
Maybe the Orange Crush for the Broncos could also get some consideration. A bunch of defenses could, but...
Yeah. DG, you guys versus us. Any of us that can play online. I wouldn't be able to participate, but that'd be fun. Yeah, I've thought about that before, too. Can you do, 2v2 on Madden? Could you and I play 2 other people?
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun. 2 subscribers challenge us.
It's been a minute since I played Madden, I'll be honest. So.
I didn't even buy the new one, so I'd have to get it. But
I'll be honest, bought it, hadn't really played it. The amount of times that I just loaded up Play Now and was playing the Super Bowl because it loads up the game.
Oh.
Seahawks, Patriots.
Is that what you've been doing recently?
No. Just leading up to that game, just
locking in.
Just locking in. Take off Dave. Andrew Hawkins said if he picked again today, he would put Caleb fourth. Please explain that. Also compare Dan Orlovsky and Caleb Williams on the field. LOL.
I mean, the second part, I don't need to do. Respect to Dan, but he was a backup. Like, as far as Hawkins fourth, I mean, he's probably just, to me, he's probably saying, okay, Bo Nix raw spreadsheet stats probably slightly better. Drake May regular season this year, Jaden regular season rookie year. That's probably the logic. I haven't seen that clip. I don't see how you could I don't think very many people would take Bo Nix over Caleb Williams. Like, how much better is Bo Nix getting? Like, I think Caleb already clears, and he could still get a lot better. So, and look, we talked about this earlier in the office. Bo Nix has exceeded my expectations. I did not like him as a prospect, and he's a good starter. Like, that's a guy, if he continues to play well, I would give him a second contract. Like, I think he can be top half of the league, maybe even a top 10 quarterback, but I just don't think he's ever a guy that, like, is carrying an offense.
No.
Caleb Williams, he did that a decent amount this year. Like, he can absolutely do that moving forward.
I have said this for a little bit now, and I'll bring it up again. To truly evaluate a first-round quarterback, you have to give them through their second contract to truly know, like, how valuable and how effective they actually were. Because to your point, Bo Nix, I think, he also exceeded my expectations. I also think Oregon's offense just doesn't really
They don't unleash quarterbacks.
Exactly.
I don't know why.
They just never do.
Even Dante Moore, I'm like, I feel like I could see more out of this, but like.
Right. And so when you get to a level when you're on a rookie contract, a lot of guys can win on a rookie contract, right? Because you're not paying the quarterback, obviously, so you can surround them with better cast, better players. And again, a lot of it falls on coaching, the GM, and everything. But then once you make the payment, which, again, you've mentioned on Bears Now multiple times, you hope to get to the point where you're paying Caleb Williams top of market dollar, because that means you're getting a quarterback that on any given Sunday you feel like you can win with. If you do that with Bo Nix, there's going to be, in my opinion, a drop-off in terms of the level of play from the Denver Broncos offense and potentially Nix himself, because you're not able to surround him with as much
and the defense ultimately probably ends up paying the price, because they have this elite defense right now. You pay Bo Nix $55 million per year, you can't keep that defense fully together, which is why they probably lose a guy like Franklin Myers this offseason, which is why a guy like Jonathan Cooper probably doesn't get another contract with them, because, you know, they'll pick their studs like Nick Bonito, they'll keep Zach Allen, they'll keep, but yeah, I mean, when you pay a quarterback big time money, he's got to be the reason that you're the number one reason why you win most of your games. That's why Josh Allen's worth every penny. But even a team like the Bills, it's like you have a couple not so great drafts. You look up, Josh James Cook. Who else we got that we really feel great about? Deion Dawkins, okay, good player.
And it's not like he should, you know, to your point, like Josh Allen, as long as he maintains his play and the team as a whole can still thrive and succeed in the offense, still is somebody that, you know, or still something that is, you know, keeping at or near the level that when you were getting paid as a rookie. Because again, Allen on any given Sunday could be the best player in the NFL. He deserves every single cent that he's gotten from Buffalo. That also doesn't mean that Buffalo, to your point, is at a level where they're going to compete for Super Bowl titles, because there are other holes on the roster. But it's not Allen's fault.
Yeah, well, here's what happens. When you pay a quarterback that and he doesn't have his A game in a high-level contest, you lose. We saw it in the playoffs.
Yep.
He didn't play well for his standards. He made a lot of plays, but he had 4 turnovers against the Broncos.
One of the worst fumbles ever.
And they lost. I mean, that's your margin slims up when you pay your quarterback, which, again, you want to do because he gives you a chance against any team in the league. Does Bo Nix at $55 million give you a chance to win any given Sunday? I don't know. Does Caleb Williams, assuming he takes another step? I would say yes.
Also, I mean, I guess kind of under the radar for me, I didn't realize his injury history with his ankles.
Yeah, apparently he's broken bones in both his ankles multiple times, so that's not good. Talking about Bo Nix.
Bo Nix, yes. Therefore, automatically put Caleb Williams above Nix. Jaden Daniels regressed this year. Again, wasn't healthy throughout. There were some things that didn't go his way, but I still think, given both of their sample sizes from when they entered the league till now, you would pick Caleb Williams. Then it becomes the debate of Caleb versus Drake May. And again, Drake May didn't have the best Super Bowl performance, obviously, but I still think over the course of the year, you could make the argument, okay, picking Drake May, picking Caleb Williams.
Drake had a better year than Caleb did this year. I don't think many would argue that.
I'm just saying when you factored in which quarterback you're picking.
Yeah. I think Caleb has more to reach than Drake does. And if it's already somewhat close, I'll take the guy who I think can surpass him based on talent.
For sure.
But I do think they're the top two. Honestly, it's kind of playing out how I had it before the draft. Caleb had the most potential and still a pretty high floor. I think we've seen that now through 2 seasons. I think Drake May, big, physical, strong arm, can move. Clearly poor playoff run, but he was my second guy. Jaden Daniels, really athletic, but now it sounds like they're going to get him under center more. We're going to find out if he can play the more
traditional
modern NFL offenses. And Caleb proved this year he can do that. They got him under center a ton this year, and he handled that pretty well. Obviously, he still has to improve, but, Jaden has this magical year, but it's this Cliff Kingsbury offense which gets exposed over time like we saw this year, and you have to run Jaden, and he doesn't do a good job of protecting himself, and he gets injured because he weighs 185 pounds, and that was my biggest concern of his coming out, and he got hurt 4 times this year. So, he's going to be interesting to watch moving forward. And then Bo Nix is just kind of like the high floor mid talent guy in the group. He's like I don't know. I'm trying to compare him to a different draft class. Is he the?
He's honestly, this is a bad comparison.
Is he like the Dak Prescott of this group? That's best case scenario.
I don't even know if he's Dak.
That's best case.
Best case, sure.
Mobile Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Best case. Again, I think those are both more consistent throwers of the football. I don't really have a good comp for Bo Nix. Is he? I'm trying to think. I don't even. Because he's got a pretty good arm, but his decision making's kind of shitty at times.
Dude, the hospital ball. He's thrown multiple hospital balls this past season. Where he's got the offensive play calling of Sean Payton. Run game's solid with J.K. Dobbins when healthy. I think RJ Harvey. Cortland Sutton, really solid wide receiver 1. Outside of that, you could argue it kind of falls down in terms of do they even have a wide receiver 2 in Denver?
They have 3 threes, Mims, Franklin, and
Pat Bryant.
They're all good players, but I wouldn't say any of them are true 2s.
Evan Ingram probably didn't live up to expectations.
Bo is dollar store Joe Flacco.
Oh. Someone said Sam Darnold. What's up, dude? No, we're chopping it up, dude. Come on in. Trizzy Trace, what up, dude?
You know what sucks being a Packers fan?
It's the worst. It's the worst. You have 3 decades of elite QB play and 2 Super Bowls to show for it. We'll see.
Yes. Big dorks.
Your head is made out of cheese? What?
Crazy.
Who we got next?
Who even likes queso? Actually, queso's pretty good.
That's the one thing they do have. All right. Shout out Trizzy Trace. The Bears, Wright greater than Jalen. Crosby greater than Garrett. Durability in Chicago. Are you talking Nashawn Wright and then Max Crosby? Well, first of all, Crosby in no way is better than Garrett. He's not more durable. He's not a better pass rusher. He probably holds up as a run defender with Garrett, but yeah, I don't really know what you mean by that. Crosby's been banged up the last 2 years. I just don't think Nashawn Wright's back. I think some team pays him a lot of money and he signs elsewhere.
The NBA is meeting Board of Governors is meeting in the spring to discuss possible expansion.
Yeah, let's expand a watered-down league for 2 more franchises. That's a good idea. Welcome back to the NBA, Dennis Smith Jr. Okay, let's sprint through these because we still got a lot of segments, content to do. TJ, the whole NFL was wide open this year. Yeah, it was. I do think in the end, we kind of knew who the best two teams were. The Seahawks and the Rams were the best two teams. And I think the best team won, which is nice. Like, it's kind of nice when you go through a season and the best team wins at the end. So that happened this year. Will Edwards, the opponents we have next year, what do you think our record could possibly be? Tough schedule on paper. I could see the Bears being similar, like 10, 11 wins, but they're a better team, if that makes sense. Like, they play a tougher schedule, but they win the same amount of games because they've improved. I could see something like that. Division's going to be tough again. I do think they'll be better than 2-4 in the division. I think they'll improve in the division, but the games out of the division will be tougher. So, yeah, we'll see. I want to see the actual week-by-week schedule come out. That won't drop till May, but we do know the opponents.
Not to mention there's so many more moves the Bears are going to make, too.
Yeah, what do these other teams do? I mean, it's hard to even say right now. All right, Astro at the 10. Appreciate it. I think the Bears keep the team they have. Means keeping Swift, Edmonds, Byard, Brisker, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. They almost actually can't keep all those guys, especially if they want to. How are they going to keep all those guys and then add Hendrickson and Levante David? You're going to just restructure everybody? That's really the only way you could do that. I would be stunned if Edmonds is back. If he is, that means he took a pay cut. I don't think you're getting Brisker back. I could see C.J. Gardner-Johnson back. I think there's a good chance Swift is back. But I think all those guys being back is very unlikely. And quite frankly, I don't want all those guys back. I want to use the $15 million I can save with Tremaine Edmonds and spend that money elsewhere. So, you know, if his reps go to the Bears and say, hey, my cap hit's 17, I'm willing to play for 8, okay, I might consider that. But I'm not keeping him at his current cap hit, and I'm not extending him to reduce that cap hit because I don't know if he ages that well. So, yeah, I just don't think. And you already extended T.J. Edwards, which in hindsight, like, may not have been the best call. So, do you double down at linebacker? I don't think so. I think you go in a different direction there.
All right, Benjamin, that could be honestly a mailbag question.
Yeah. I have seen it, Benjamin.
We'll get it up for the mailbag coming up after the segment.
I think they're staying in Illinois, but we'll dive into it more. All right, hit the like button. Appreciate everybody for hanging out. Appreciate all the super chats. You guys are awesome. Colin and I greatly appreciate it. Let's get more Bears fans in here. Let's hit that like button. Here's what we got coming up here on today's show. Is a wild NFL offseason coming, not only for the Bears, but across the league. Adam Schefter made some interesting comments that I want to dive into. 2 mailbags today, hashtag Bears or Super Chat. We will get to those in our 2 mailbags here. And then ESPN, are they high on the 2026 Bears? At least some of their analysts are. We'll dive into it coming up live on Chicago Bears Now. Are the Chicago Bears set to make some trades this offseason? We're going to talk about it here on Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham because Adam Schefter made some interesting comments believing that there will be an uptick in trades across the NFL. And you would think, given Ryan Poles' history, he's going to be sniffing around for some trades. Here's kind of what Schefter said. Then we'll get to the specific quote. But he basically said on his podcast that execs, GMs, coaches around the league do not view this upcoming draft and free agency as a great one. And because of that, that could lead to an uptick in trades and aggressive moves being made by GMs looking to improve their roster via the trade market. And then kind of separate from the Schefter report, but there's been some buzz that at the owners' meeting, some NFL teams could try to put to a vote to pass a new rule to make it where you can trade draft picks up to 5 years at a time. So right now, you can only trade picks for the next 3 drafts. So like if, I'll just do a hypothetical. If the Vikings wanted Joe Burrow, because there's been some thoughts of that, they can only offer picks through the 2028 draft. This year, 27, 28. Well, if this rule passed, they could offer picks through the 2030 draft. So they could say, hey, take the next 5 first-round picks. We'll also throw you 2 of these players, yada, yada, yada. So if that gets passed, then you could see some pretty wild trade offers be made in the NFL moving forward. But here is what Schefter actually had to say. He said, we got a free agent class that's not deep. We got a draft that's not considered real deep. You know what that tells me? It tells me we may get more wheeling and dealing in trades than we've had in other years. It seems to be a trend in recent years that teams are unafraid to make a big deal. And look, we know Ryan Poles is always sniffing around. We know he is willing to trade. He has made a lot of notable trades in just 4 years of being the GM. Some that have worked, some haven't. Now, he hasn't really done the crazy blockbuster trade. I'd say the biggest one he's done was the draft trade, right? Trading out of the number 1 pick in 2023. But just look at some of the notable ones he's made. One of the first things he did, taking the jobs, he traded Khalil Mack to the Chargers. He then traded Roquan Smith to the Ravens. He traded Robert Quinn to the Eagles. He traded for Chase Claypool. That was obviously a flop. Then he had the blockbuster draft trade with the Panthers. That's obviously paid off really well. He traded for Montez Sweat. He traded for Keenan Allen. He traded Justin Fields to the Steelers. And then last offseason, he got really good value on 2 high-level players, Jonah Jackson and Joe Thuney. That's just 10 trades. He's made a bunch of other smaller ones too, like Ryan Bates, draft night trades, things of that nature. And so we know this is a GM that is willing to wheel and deal. And it was also reported at this trade deadline from Schefter that they asked about Myles Garrett from the Browns. Now, that was a non-starter. Cleveland wasn't going to budge on that, so they traded for a lesser player in Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. But we know that the Bears are willing to look around for these moves. And if Schefter is right, and that's the narrative of this offseason, you could see GMs, including Poles, be even more aggressive. Clearly, the Bears need to make improvements on this roster, especially defensively. Their defensive line in particular, edge, defensive tackle, you could debate what's a bigger need. I would argue D tackle is actually a slightly bigger one, but more edges could be available on the trade market. Left tackle has entered the conversation considering Ozzie Trapillo may not be available at all this season. Safety, linebacker, those are 2 other positions on defense that you need to attack as well. So if they don't like what's available in free agency or the draft, they could be aggressive in trades. Now, luckily, the positions they need for the most part, there is some good depth in the draft along the defensive line. There are some good safeties available. Linebacker could be a little thinner, but there's still a few options on that front as well. I do think Poles will be active in trade talks. Now, the good thing about Poles is, for the most part, he hasn't been reckless. I would say the Claypool one in hindsight was borderline reckless. He tried, but I at least understood the logic behind it. It's like, hey, I want to give Justin Fields a fair shake here. Let's get him another weapon. And it was a disaster. It didn't work. But he's been pretty disciplined for the most part in terms of like not drastically overpaying in trades. Sometimes you do overpay in trades. That's just the reality. You definitely overpay in free agency, which he's done a few times. That's just part of how free agency works. You pay good players great money a lot of the time. That's how it happens. But I would guess, again, that they're going to be calling around to see who's available and if some deals can be done. So don't be shocked if the Bears are among the teams making some trades this offseason. Who is your dream Bears trade target? Anyone available? Who would you pick? Who do you want to go out and get? Let me know in the comments section below. Now, these are 4 names that, I've kind of thrown out there as like splash blockbuster trade targets that you could try to get. Again, doesn't mean these guys are even available, but there's at least a logic that they could be. Myles Garrett a year ago wanted out. It's not a crazy thought to think he would want out again, especially considering Jim Schwartz is not back in Cleveland. Max Crosby, we'll get to him in a second. Danielle Hunter, the logic there is they're going to have to pay Will Anderson Jr. if they decide to pay C.J. Stroud. You can't pay everybody. Danielle Hunter, aging player, they could pivot off him. Jeffrey Simmons seems excited to play for Robert Saleh, but the Titans could opt to put more resources into the offense and around Cam Ward. So those are players at positions of need that I could see theoretically being available and the Bears calling around on. Crosby is clearly the name to watch because he's the one guy on that list that it kind of feels like he at least somewhat is open/ready for a new opportunity. Now, he has not come out and said that. We don't know what's been said behind the scenes between he and the Las Vegas Raiders. There's been a lot of rumors. At the same time, though, he has been kind of towing the company line when he has spoken publicly. He's like, yeah, I just want to, I'm just attacking my rehab and working on getting better every day and being the best player I can be. he could easily come out and put an end to this. He could come out and say, I'm a Raider. I'm going to be a Raider in 2026 and beyond. I don't want to play anywhere else. He has not done that. He could easily do that. Now, he's not going to come out and demand a trade publicly either. I think he's kind of threading that needle, going to see how this plays out. He's going to meet with Kubiak and the Raiders, and, I'm sure there will be discussions there. He wants to keep that behind closed doors, which I respect, but I think he's the guy to watch. ESPN, Jeremy Fowler has reported that Crosby's made it clear his top priority is winning and that he does not want to go through another rebuild or an attempted rebuild because the Raiders haven't exactly been successful at it. I would argue if I'm the Raiders, draft Mendoza, trade Crosby while he's got good value, commit to a rebuild and commit to building around Mendoza. But whether or not that actually happens remains to be seen. But if he does become available, I'm sure the Bears will be among the teams calling, and then it comes down to what the offer would look like. Okay, more to discuss on this topic from Adam Schefter's reporting here on Chicago Bears Now, but got to tell you guys about today's sponsor. That is Ethos. Life insurance isn't a fun topic to talk about, but it's important, especially if you're like me and you have a wife and a child. Thinking about their livelihoods made it easier to discuss, and I'm so glad I found Ethos as my life insurance provider. I carry a lot of responsibility in my household. If something happened to me, there's real consequences. Mortgage payments, tuition, everyday bills, other things. Those things just don't disappear. Life can throw you curveballs, and it's best that you stay prepared. With Ethos, you can get life insurance in as little as 10 minutes. Ethos has no medical exams, just a few easy health questions online. You can get same-day coverage without ever leaving your house. You can get up to $3 million in coverage, and some policies are as low as $30 per month with Ethos. So help protect your family with life insurance through Ethos today. Get your instant free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That is ethos.com/NFL Daily. Application times and rates may vary. Ethos.com/NFL Daily. Okay, when you get to like the next tier of trade targets, like remember last offseason, I thought Poles did a great job, right? Joe Thuney, Chiefs got to shed some money. Boom, we'll give you a 4th-round pick for an All-Pro. Guy won the new award, NFL Protector of the Year. Jonah Jackson for a 6th, come off a down year. Take a kind of a low-risk swing. Boom, has a bounce-back year, plays really well, familiarity with Ben Johnson. So you kind of get into these next tier of caliber player. With Chris Jones, could that be another situation where the Chiefs are trying to shed money, buy low on a really good player, even though he's a little bit older, and Chris Jones get a few good years out of him? I would not be against that. Kenny Clark, they have 3 defensive tackles now. Quinnen Williams is on board. Obviously, they paid Osa Odigizua. Could they flip him? DeForest Buckner with the Colts is another one. Vita Vea. Jonathan Cooper with the Broncos. They're probably not going to be able to give him another contract in a year or two, so maybe they sell him while he's got some value. Jermaine Johnson, the Bears made a call at the deadline. Could the Jets be willing to deal him now? Bradley Chubb in Miami. Trayvon Walker with the Jags. And then that left tackle spot, if they want an option to help hold it down for a year, Walker Little and Jalen Moore could be options. Little got phased out at left tackle, ended up the year playing right guard, so they're going to look to shed him potentially. And then Jalen Moore, with Josh Simmons coming back, the Chiefs could be willing to move off of him as well. And like I said, Poles did a great job last offseason. Like, hey, we're not going to force anything. We're going to kind of let the market come to us. Oh, Trey Smith is our top guy. You guys are franchise tagging him. Well, you probably can't afford to keep Joe Thuney then. How about a 4th-round pick? Sweet. Jonah Jackson, hey, Ben, can he fit back into your scheme? How do you feel about that one? Didn't go well at the Rams. Yeah, I think we can make it work. Okay, Rams, 6th-round pick. Both fit like a glove, right? If you can find those type of moves defensively where you don't have to do the blockbuster move, but you find value and still keep some of your premium draft picks, that would be fantastic. So we'll see what they do, but to Schefter's point, I think you're going to see a high volume of trades, and not everybody's going for a 1st or 2nd-round pick. So maybe the value trades are the way to go. Subscribe to the channel. We have you covered all off season long. If the Bears make a trade, we're making a video about it. We're probably going live as well for that breaking news. So lock us in, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and never miss an episode here on Chicago Bears Now. Also, you got to talk about the players Poles could pivot off of, guys he could trade away this offseason. And I think there's a few that could happen. Obviously, the big one is DJ Moore, and it's a hot button issue, and some people come at me when I bring it up. And look, I've said it a million times. This isn't is DJ Moore a good player or not discussion. I think we all agree he's a good player. Now, we can debate how good he is. I don't think he's a number one receiver at this point in his career, but I still think he's a good player. He certainly made some big plays this year and big moments. But he makes $28.5 million. And you have Luther Burden, Rome Odunze, Colston Loveland, and you need to put more resources into your defense. Again, it's a roster construction conversation. It's not a DJ Moore sucks, get rid of him. That's not what I'm saying. Like, it's you have pieces offensively. You can afford to pivot off DJ and use that money elsewhere. Gervon Dexter's another one. I've been told about DJ and Dexter. With Dexter, they would look at a team-friendly extension if he's up for that. DJ, they may opt to restructure instead of trade, so we'll see what happens with those two guys. Obviously, Dexter, I thought, took a good step from year 1 to year 2. I did not think he took another notable step from year 2 to year 3. So is he a good fit in this scheme? Is that a guy I would pay long term? If it's not team friendly, I would not. DeAndre Swift, I like Swift. I'm cool with him being back. I've made that clear. Him and Monungai, you got a good thing going there for at least another year. But if you're trying to be opportunistic and upgrade there, you could trade Swift for a late round pick or even cut him. But if you do that, you have to have another running back in mind. And then Cole Kmet, I think an extension's more likely, but you could trade him and save most of his cap hit as well. Don't think that one's very likely at all because Ben really likes him, and they run as much 12 and 13 personnel as anyone else in the NFL. So look, trading for guys, trading away guys. If Schefter's right here, and if teams are hesitant on the free agent market in particular, and potentially the draft as well, teams might be willing to get rid of draft picks to go get talent. Teams might be willing to let go of assets to maybe get future draft capital. People look at the 2027 draft as a really good draft. We'll see how the next 12 months play out with the college football season. But, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I think we should see some movement soon, probably around the NFL Combine. You're going to hear a lot of rumors and maybe even a couple of trades get agreed to across the league. And we'll see if the Bears are among those teams making those moves. All right, fill in the blank. The Bears will make blank trades this offseason, not counting draft day like pick swap trades. Players are getting moved. I think I'd set the over-under at 1.5. I think knowing Pole's history, he'll make at least one and potentially 2 or 3. So let me know in the comments. 1, 2, 3, more, 0, less, whatever it is. Fire away. Don't forget to follow me on TikTok. We're almost at 4,000 followers over there at HGramNFL, posting short-form content on a daily basis as well. Primarily Bears content, but some NFL, some college football as well. Appreciate the support. As always, bear down. Okay, hashtag Bears or Super Chat. Any that fly in, we will handle here on the first mailbag. Remember, 2 mailbags today, so if we don't hit you this first time, stick around with us on the live show. We'll hop into another mailbag episode. So fire away in the chat. Hashtag Bears or Super Chat.
I'm already seeing some good ones in here. So we'll include those on the show. But again, use hashtag Bears as already mentioned.
Ben H, that's a good one. I can answer that one. The why haven't they re-signed Byard yet?
Yeah, we can get to that at some point. Benjamin.
Oh, Rome Odunze trade questions.
When you mentioned Rome Odunze, that last part of the segment, a lot of people were saying they're kind of tired of Rome Odunze. Look, he didn't end the year the way you wanted him to. Obviously, he was dealing with that foot injury for a large portion of the year. That being said, I think Rome's definitely closer to the first month of the year Rome Odunze than he was end of year Rome Odunze.
Yeah, and again, the contract is a big part of this, guys.
Yeah.
I'm with you. At times, Rome was very frustrating this year. He's also a second-year player who, before the injury, was on pace to have a huge year. Now, he's got to get better with the hands. I thought there were too many plays he could have made this year that he didn't. But, that's also been true with DJ Moore the last couple of years, and he makes almost $30 million per year, and he's older. There's a lot of factors that go into this stuff. Trading Rome Odunze doesn't net you almost $17 million. You might get more in a return in terms of draft pick capital. You'd probably get, I would guess if you traded Rome, and we'll talk about this if there's a question on it, probably get a second-round pick right now for Rome Odunze. DJ's probably more like a 4th or a 5th because of the contract and the age. So you say, why not do that one? Well, again, a lot of the reason you trade DJ Moore is the money, is to free up the cash. Rome's not saving you that much money if you trade him. And long-term, I still think, the arrow's pointing up. Whereas with DJ, I'm not saying it's pointing down, but it's not pointing up. He's an older player, and he's just not. He's not a number one. I still think Rome can become a number one, but even if he doesn't, I still think he's ascending as a young player, and DJ isn't. And ultimately, he doesn't cost you as much. If Rome doesn't get to where you want to go, what you don't pay him, right? That keeps you flexible. So, yeah, we'll talk about it more if we get a mailbag question on it. Hashtag Bears Super Chat. Let's hop into our first mailbag. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, this was mentioned a couple times during when you were talking about some of Poles' biggest trades. Montez Sweat trade wasn't mentioned on the
I mentioned it.
I thought, or somebody's saying that you didn't. There's multiple people.
There's no way I didn't have it.
Yeah, Sweat wasn't there.
It's on there.
Okay.
It was the top right of the second column.
Yeah.
It's absolutely on there. I may have kind of sprinted through it verbally, but it was absolutely mentioned.
I was going to say, I don't think we missed it, but each their own. All right, we're going to get into this first hashtag Bears mailbag segment. We're going to have another one later in the show, so if you don't get answered in this mailbag, there's a second opportunity. But if you want to guaranteeingly get in on a mailbag, send in a super chat. Greatly help us out, and we appreciate it and helps the show grow.
Fire away. Real quick, I'm going to check Pete Thamel here, see if we got a ruling on Trinidad Chambliss.
Mr. Chambliss.
Judge is still reading his decision. We're at more than 20 minutes of reading. He's critical of the NCAA's conclusions, says it's clear that Trinidad was not healthy from his senior year of high school through 2022, but nothing official yet. That certainly leads to believe, though, Chambliss is going to win this.
Which to be honest, I don't know if we've necessarily talked about this. I don't know if it's necessarily a good idea if he returns. I think this is the quarterback draft class that you want to come out if you're a guy like Trinidad Chambliss versus next year.
Yeah, I see both sides of it, and here's why. I think he looks at the history of I know he's played a lot of ball, but at the D1 level, he started one season. That historically does not translate to the NFL. So I think he's kind of betting on himself here. Hey, I'm going to get NIL money. I get another year in the SEC under my belt. Yes, it's a more crowded draft class, and it's risky if I don't play as well. But I think he's clearly being advised to go back to school if that's an option. Because I'm with you. It's you've lost all these appeals, weak QB drafts. Why not just go strike while the iron's hot? But
you're also not going to have the same offensive mind with Lane Kiffin leaving for LSU.
Yeah, there's risk.
Might have lose a couple of receivers. Again, the transfer portal can negate some of that, but I don't know.
If he's average next year, he could be undraftable given his size. So
exactly.
There is risk.
Whereas if he enters this draft, he'll at least
day 2 at worst, I would guess.
He'll at least get rumored first round, I would imagine. I don't know if he'd actually land first round, but listen, he does whatever he wants. Sometimes also people don't want to leave the college life. And that's fine. That's totally okay.
He seems if you've heard him talk, he seems really grateful for Ole Miss, giving him this chance in the first place. So I do wonder if some of that he wants to give them another. I think there's probably a lot of angles going into it, but I
don't know. If I'm him, I'm bolted to the league.
Yeah, clearly he's not. If he wins this, otherwise he wouldn't have gone through all this
exactly
legal trouble on it. All right, let's get into it. Mailbag time. All right, coming up, we're going to get into your mailbag questions. So use hashtag Bears or Super Chat to get your questions answered here on the show. One topic I want to talk about here on Chicago Bears Now, my name is Harrison Graham, is the idea of trading up for Caleb Downs if he falls enough in the draft. Because Caleb Downs is arguably the best player in this draft. The Bears have a need at safety. Dennis Allen loves these kind of multi-dimensional defensive backs that can do a number of different things, and he clearly has a ton of versatility. He can line up and play man in the nickel. He can play in the box and light people up in the run game. He can play center field at safety. He's got a lot of versatility, and I do just wonder if there would be a point in the draft where the Bears would consider it. Albert Breer put this out today saying, I feel comfortable saying Caleb Downs is the best football player in the draft. He won't be the first pick. You have to consider upside, positional value, all that. And there are guys with more of that stuff, but no one in the class is a better football player. I would agree with him. Maybe Jeremiah Love, but again, positional value. And then Dane Brugler, who I think is the best or one of the best draft analysts in the game. I think he could be a scout or a GM if he wanted to. Said, fun question I've been asking to scouts. Quote, Caleb Downs is the best safety prospect you've personally scouted since. A few have answered ever. Now, take that with a grain of salt. If he's dealing with a 3-year scout, of course, that guy didn't, scout Ed Reed or something like that. But still, I mean, I think it's safe to say I can't remember a safety this highly touted in recent years. I mean, Kyle Hamilton, but I think Downs has more upside with his profile. He's certainly going to run faster than Hamilton did when he was coming out. So let's just kind of go through the draft order and just kind of spitball. Like, I wouldn't trade into the top 8 or even the top 10. But, like, you start to get to it, okay, Miami at 11. Would you pull the trigger there? Dallas has 2 first-round picks. They could use defensive help. So would you try to get in front of them? If he gets past 12, God, I would hate the Rams to get him. Like, I think when I look at this draft order, the Rams at 13, I think that is probably the floor of where he would go. They need defensive back help in a major way. So the Rams at 13, I'd be shocked if he got past that. So, you look at this, the Bears don't pick until 25. He's not going to fall this far. Obviously, I think, the Rams, like I said, are probably the floor at 13. What point would you have to get to if you're running the Bears? And I'm kind of opening up this door to you guys watching as well. Like, when do you start thinking, man, I'm getting on the phone, I'm at least seeing what it would cost to move up? I think if he falls outside the top 10, I'm calling Miami and I'm seeing. Because I look at the Dolphins, and they are going to have a lot of needs. They're going to enter a rebuild in all likelihood. What would it take to go from 25 to 11? Probably your first next year. And so do you do that for a safety? Well, if you think he's Ed Reed, you do. Right? Now, part of the equation, too, is like, okay, have you addressed pass rush and free agency at this point? Because you're going to give up draft capital for a non-pass rusher. So it's an interesting conversation to have. Like, would you trade 25 a first next year straight up for Caleb Downs? I'd think about it. If I felt good about what I added with my pass rush and free agency, I would think about doing that if it doesn't cost more than that. Now, is that enough? I don't know. You may have to add like a day 2 pick in there as well. Then it becomes complicated. But, man, this guy, he's a demon, as the real ones like to say, in terms of a draft prospect. I think he's that good. How far for you would Downs have to fall for you to try and trade up for him? Like 15th pick, you wouldn't do it at all. Would you trade like up to 8 for him? I think he gets past Cincinnati at 10, which he could go there too. They need defense, played at Ohio State. That would make a lot of sense. If he gets past the Bengals, Dolphins are on the clock, I'd think about it. I really would. I would see how much it cost to get up to get Caleb Downs. All right, we'll take some questions now. Real Adventures, appreciate the super chat. Why zero talk of John Franklin Myers to the Bears? I've briefly talked about him. I think it's because he's just going to get so much money. He's by far the best interior pass rusher that's set to hit free agency. Some team's going to overpay massively. I think $20 million per year is on the table. Now, if you told me it's like 2 for $20 million, $10 million a year, let's do it. But I think it's going to be closer to 20 than 10, and it might be a 3 or 4 year deal. I don't know. That's a little rich for my blood. He plays with a lot of studs in Denver. Like, is he going to be that productive moving forward on a different team? Maybe, but maybe not. Bear down for life. Appreciate the 10. Sorry if you already touched on this, but have you seen the Hallis Harbor plant out of Portage, Indiana? Your thoughts? Even though Indiana's closer to me, rather the Bears stay in Illinois. That's basically my thought. The Bears belong in Illinois. It's literally in their song, the pride and joy of Illinois. That's awkward if you move to Indiana. I'm not saying you don't move to Indiana because of that alone. I mean, there's a lot at play here, obviously. But my thought is the Bears belong in Illinois. Really, they belong in the city, and it doesn't sound like that's feasible. But I I think in the end, Arlington Heights happens. There's a lot of property out there that they purchased. They could build a cool surrounding area with the stadium as well. Bars, restaurants, that type of stuff. So I think in the end, that's probably what happens here. All right, we've got St. Patty's Day shirts now. Join the Chicago drinking team. No one does St. Patrick's better than the city of Chicago, which, by the way, stay tuned for another merch St. Patty's themed item that we're going to drop in the near future. But if you want to get this one, chatsports.com/BearsGreen. Plus, if you get it before Monday, it's 25% off, just like the entire store is with our Chat Sports Bears Now merch. But this shirt specifically, chatsports.com/BearsGreen. Go check it out. And while you're there, you can see the full shop with all the merch there. All of it's 25% off for a limited time only. Okay, big dumper. Should we revisit the Johnson trade with the Jets and see if they come to their senses and take a third or a fourth? I think that's a team worth calling. And look, the Jets have a ton of capital, so they might be willing to add more. I don't know if they would do a fourth-round pick, but if they would, I would certainly trade a fourth. Would I trade a third for Jermaine Johnson? I'd have to think about it. He's a full season older now. He's entering his fifth-year option year. It's kind of like him and Kayvon Thibodeau. Like, what are you willing to give up a guy entering his fifth-year option who you're going to likely have to pay? Third would probably be the most I'd be willing to give up in that scenario. All right, King Towers, would you be satisfied with Kayvon Thibodeau, right on cue, and Sweat with a draft pick addition? It would be an improvement. Like, if you got Thibodeau for like a third and then drafted a defensive tackle, you're certainly better than you were. Do you go from 31st in pass rush win rate to top half in the league? Maybe. I doubt it. I think you probably improve to like top 20. I would rather. I'll say this: I'd rather sign Trey Hendrickson to a short-term deal than trade a third-round pick for Jermaine Johnson or Kayvon Thibodeau. I'm not giving up a pick. I still think Trey is the better pass rusher. Clearly, he's older. You're not going to have him for 5 years, but you could have him for 2. And hopefully by then you've drafted and developed somebody a little bit. Maybe Austin Booker's come along. It buys you time while you try to find your longer-term solutions. Subscribe to the channel. We got content all year long. We go live every Monday and Thursday. We won't be live this upcoming Monday because of President's Day. I've got the day off. But we will continue to pump out content, news, rumors, mailbags, draft coverage, free agency, trade rumors. We're here for all of it. Lock us in. Christian edits, hypothetically speaking, what could Rome fetch in a trade? I would say probably a second-round pick. Maybe some team, like would the Patriots give you 31? Probably. He'd be their best receiver instantly. But I'm not trading Rome. And everybody's like, you keep saying trade DJ, why not trade Rome? Guys, we can debate who the literal better player is right now. I think both guys have pros and cons. I think Rome is a better natural receiver. DJ probably has a little more versatility, but DJ's cap hit is $28.5 million, and he's approaching 30 years old. Rome Odunze is like 23 years old, and before the foot injury, even with some drop problems, was having a monster year before he got hurt. I still think the arrow is pointing up for Rome Odunze. He's got to clean some things up this offseason, and I expect him to work hard to do that. Whereas I'm not saying DJ Moore is plummeting as a player, but chances are his best days are probably behind him, and you have a crowded room, and you can free up money by trading him. So, again, hypothetically, I think a second, maybe some teams picking late first round would give you their first, but I think it's a non-starter. I don't think Rome Odunze is getting traded. All right, DC Viper, I've seen some mocks. The Bears draft Lee Hunter. I did that in my last mock. I've seen others, Caden McDonald, Zion Young, Caleb Banks. Out of all of them, who do you pick if they're all there at 25? Well, what the testing at the combine could certainly sway me because I think all these guys are in a similar tier, like mid-late first round, early second round. I think all these guys fall into that bucket. I think Caleb Banks has the highest ceiling. He's 6'6", 325, and he's pretty freaky, but he's got a foot injury in his history, and he retweaked it this year. So what does the medical look like? Caden McDonald, I think, is a good player who can still get better. Zion Young has this like DWI that hasn't gotten much public run, so I don't know how serious of a situation that was. We know Poles values character a lot, so they're going to do a lot of research on that. And then Who's the other one here? Oh, Lee Hunter. He's probably the fastest riser out of this group, other than maybe Banks, who had a strong Senior Bowl as well. So, if I had to order it right now without knowing the medicals, I'd go Banks 1, Hunter 2, and then I would debate the other two, McDonald and Young. But I think all are solid options for the Bears at 25 based on the information we currently have. All right, name a player you don't want the Bears to draft. Who's someone that you've maybe heard of the Bears? I'm like, I don't want that guy. To get him off my football team. Who's the Nate Davis of this draft? Of course, we have no idea who that is. But, yeah, Velus Jones. Gosh, what a douchey comment that was. All right, Ben H. Jennings Dunker. Can he play left tackle? Because I've seen people say he's a right tackle / right guard. He's playing on the right side. If they think he can be a serviceable left tackle, sure. I don't think I'd take him at 25, though. I think he's early day 2, which kind of falls into the no man's land for the Bears. Could be a trade down target. Trade down for 25 out of the first round. Take him in like the 30s or 40s. I don't think he gets to 57. He's probably somewhere between 35 and 50, I would guess. But offensive line's kind of a premium. Sometimes guys go higher than expected. So if he could play left tackle, then I'd be open to it. All right, Drew, NFL's top 15, 25 games. Video has 5 Bears games. Yeah, I mean, look, we kind of made the comp. You know how people are always like, that's a league pass team? The Bears were like the ultimate league pass team in the NFL. You want to be entertained? Watch the 2025 Chicago Bears, which was a breath of fresh air because the Bears historically, especially in recent years, not only have they not been good, they've been boring. Can't score offensively. They get stuck in these like slugfests, then eventually the defense gets tired and they lose. This year, the offense was electric. It was entertaining as hell. Caleb Williams was clutch. It was awesome. Cardiac Bears, baby. Coined it for a reason. So, that does not surprise me at all. It was an entertaining season and one I'll never forget, and hopefully one the Bears can build on moving forward. All right, guys, if we didn't get to your question, if you're watching live, we have another mailbag coming up. But also, find me on socials, at HGramNFL, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, same handle. DMs are open. I've done a bad job with DMs recently. I will try to catch up this 3-day weekend. I will do my best. Also, please support the new Facebook page, facebook.com/HGramNFL. That they don't really have handles, so if you are in your web browser /HGramNFL, or if you search Harrison Graham Chat Sports on Facebook in the search bar there, I should pop up. So give me a follow over there. I'd greatly appreciate it, and bear down.
Bang, bang. Will Edwards, like the Super Chat, will probably include it in our second mailbag. Here we've got another segment. We're going to break it up here as well. Just want to say, you see your Super Chat will probably be included later in the show.
Yeah, we will get to it, Will, in about 15 minutes.
But we do want to remind you guys about the awesome deals that we've got here.
Yeah, so I just showed you guys the new St. Patty's, but the full shop, 25% off. I mean, it's best deal we've ever offered since we launched some merch a few months back. And by the way, if you've bought anything, appreciate it so much. It's another way to support the show, and you get some quality gear out of it. And listen, no one does St. Patty's better than Chicago, so join the Chicago drinking team. Get the shirt today, chatsports.com/Bears shop. Link is in the chat for you guys, chatsports.com. Is that clickable, or do you have to go? You may have to put HTTP in front of that.
Okay. Yeah.
Chatsports.com/Bears shop. I can throw it in there real quick.
If he's got it, I'll just kind of run through Iceman merch, whether it's the hoodies, whether it's the T-shirts, both really good-looking, items if you want to potentially grab. Also got FGB, a classic here at Bears Now. We got that in the store here at Bears Now. The Our Turn Bears Now with the cheese grater and the bear, looking really nice. The married into this, if you want some last-minute Valentine's Day gifts, those are also included. Cardiac Bears. I mean, better nickname for a team this past season. Can't find one.
No, you're not going to find a more fitting nickname for a
I
team.
guess is the right way.
I pinned it in the chat, so if you're thinking, okay, I'll check it out, but I want to wait till the stream's over, it's pinned right there. 25% off through Monday night. Monday at midnight, going into Tuesday, finito. Back to regular prices. So check it out, 25% off. The full collection is there. Hoodies, T-shirts. We're looking to adding hats to the store soon as well. That's been a work in progress. So appreciate anybody who has gotten some gear. That's awesome.
Very, very cool. Getting back to this question, just because I was kind of curious. Williams says Ty Simpson. Yeah, well, obviously, if the Bears draft a QB, especially if somebody that, and Simpson at worst goes somewhere in day 2, that would be a bad decision.
Yeah, they're not drafting a quarterback unless it's like 7th round and like Case Keenum retires and they think there's a fun developmental guy that could be their 3rd guy. But even then, they probably wouldn't do it. Maybe UDFA.
Dude. Hannah, shout out to Hannah, just entered the chat. She knows ball.
Oh, pupusas.
Love pupusas.
If you've had a pupusa, type Y in the chat. They're electric.
Dude,
and if
they're
you
so
don't,
good.
if you haven't, the best way I can describe it is it's basically, it looks like a pancake.
Yeah, it does.
But it's a Salvadorian
El
dish
Salvadorian, yeah.
that is it's basically a like enclosed taco that is either grilled or fried, and there's meat and cheese inside.
Yeah, pork usually.
Pork, chicken,
Yeah.
refried beans, black beans. I'm sure I've never had like a steak one, but you could put steak in there, whatever the case may be. It's fantastic.
One of my good friends, he's from El Salvador, and he like introduced me to pupusas.
Oh,
Phenomenal.
it's like
Phenomenal.
I can't wait. All right, we're signing off. I'm just kidding.
We still got 2 segs, unfortunately, but not unfortunately, but you know. We're good, Sam. Appreciate you.
Harrison Graham just got great news.
Oh, dude.
Maybe the best news. Yeah, my wife picked up pupusas for dinner. Have you had a pupusa before? Oh. Oh, well, she didn't make those, but yes. Yes. And they are fantastic.
I'm jealous.
Sam knows. I'll bring some up one time from this. My wife teaches in Garland, Texas, and there's this little place on the corner, and they know what they're doing. I can send. I'll send you the place.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Might have to make the trip out there. I went to Garland for some pizza recently. It's phenomenal.
That place is awesome too.
Fortunate son.
There's some good food out there, kind of randomly, but it's really good. About 4 hours, Ben. About 4 hours. Okay, we got a lot to go. We're dragging along. That would have been another great segment for Bears Now Extra. Pupusa breakdowns. All right, let's dive into our next segment. What are we doing here? Totally
We are talking ESPN being high on the Chicago Bears.
Oh my gosh! Recently, Bears got dragged. Now we're back. Let's break it down. Coming up here on today's show, some ESPN analysts are actually really high on the 2026 Chicago Bears. I'm going to react to that, but first, I got to give the fellas a round of applause here. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are showing up and showing out, and we are destroying Joey Peterson and the Packers Report and new subscribers in the month of February. But let's not rest on our laurels. If you want to decimate the Green Bay Packers and keep the FGB theme going year-round, let's beat them in new subscribers this month. Free and daily Bears content. Make it a competition. Let's go. Sub for Bears dubs over the Packers, baby. Are we in rare territory where the Chicago Bears are getting good pub heading into the next season? Well, ESPN did an article recently where they had some of their top analysts and insiders basically give their thoughts on some different categories, like what's your Super Bowl prediction for next year? Who's your MVP pick? Give me a bold prediction, stuff like that. And 3 of their analysts / insiders had some pretty bold and positive takes on what the Bears / Caleb Williams could accomplish in 2026. So let's kind of present the information and I'll react as we go here. And let's just start with what would be the most exciting for all of us. Super Bowl Bears? Maybe. Matt Bowen, who is based out of Chicago and does some of their especially offseason analysis, had this to say. He said, Bears over Bills. This is his Super Bowl prediction for Super Bowl 61. Chicago needs to add pass rushers, but the foundational players are there on offense under Coach Ben Johnson. With quarterback Caleb Williams' playmaking ability, the Bears will beat Josh Allen and Joe Brady's Bills to win Super Bowl 61. I will say this. I do think you will see the Bears be a trendy Super Bowl pick by some analysts. I think it'll go both ways. Some will be really high on the Bears, and others will call them like next year's Commanders. Be like, oh, they're going to regress. They won a bunch of fluky games, yada, yada, yada. You're going to hear both of that, I think. And I will say this. Matt Bowen hits the nail on the head. If the Bears can add to their biggest need roster-wise, which is pass rushers, they need at least one, if not multiple, impactful players on their defensive line added to what they currently already have. I think this is a Super Bowl contender. You've got Montez Sweat, nice player. Austin Booker's ascending. I think Grady Jarrett and Javon Dexter are solid-ish rotation guys. If you can add an edge and a defensive tackle and at least one of them hit really well and another one at least be solid, I think you got something. I think you're cooking. You at least got some good depth there. You're not going to be a top 5 pass rush unit in the league, but you're going to be better than 31st in pass rush win rate. If you could get a Trey Hendrickson or someone like that, slide Montez Sweat down a notch, Austin Booker, you really make his snaps count, then I think you're feeling a lot better about that edge group. And then if you could hit on a defensive tackle in the draft, then I think you're going to be set up in a good position defensive line-wise this upcoming season. Bowen's right as well. The offense, the core's in place. Everyone's ready to go. So left tackle is the only question mark you have offensively right now. Who is your top defensive line target for the Bears in any way you can acquire them? Trade, free agent, draft. If you could pick one defensive lineman to add to this football team that's at least somewhat potentially available, like don't say Will Anderson because he's not going to become available. Let me know who it is down in the comments section. Okay, Caleb Williams for MVP, question mark? Well, one of their insiders is predicting it. One of the sections was, hey, who's your way too early MVP prediction? Dan Graziano saying, quote, Caleb Williams. I see the arrow pointing up for Williams with Ben Johnson and a Bears team that arrived well ahead of schedule. Williams has that fourth quarter clutch gene. Even if the Bears fix their defense to where he doesn't need as many clutch performances, he should have plenty of opportunities to showcase his abilities in a tough NFC North. And yeah, kind of like the Super Bowl prediction, I do think you will see some trendy Caleb Williams will be an MVP finalist or could even win MVP. I think you'll see that that kind of littered throughout some analysis in the offseason. He certainly took a big jump this year. If he takes another notable jump in an offense that he's comfortable in with now, with a group of players that shouldn't really change much around him this offseason, he absolutely has MVP potential. There's no throw he can't make. He's mobile. He improved a ton just in terms of, hey, we need you to do quarterback things, not just freelance things all the time. In fact, at times it was almost like, hey, you could actually take off a little bit more here. I just think another year with Ben Johnson and this thing could really, really take off. And I frankly expect it to in 2026. More on that coming up and more on Graziano's point of having a lot of opportunities to showcase what Caleb Williams could do to have a chance to win MVP. But got to tell you guys about our sponsor first. That is Ethos Life Insurance. Isn't a fun topic to talk about, but it's important, especially if you're like me and you have a wife and a child. Thinking about their livelihoods made it easier to discuss, and so I'm glad I found Ethos as my life insurance provider. I carry a lot of responsibility in my household. If something happens to me, there are real consequences like mortgage payments, tuition, everyday bills. Those things don't just go away. Life can throw you curveballs, and it's best that you stay prepared. With Ethos, you can get life insurance in as little as 10 minutes. They have no medical exams, just a few easy health questions online. You can get same-day coverage without ever leaving your house. Some of their policies are as low as $30 per month with Ethos, but you can also get up to $3 million in coverage with some of their policies as well. So check out Ethos today. Protect your family with life insurance with Ethos. Get your instant free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That is ethos.com/NFL Daily. Application times and rates may vary. It's Ethos. ethos.com/NFL Daily. Okay, so Graziano also pointed out, like, hey, tough NFC North. Also, the schedule in general, there's going to be some big primetime matchups. Obviously, you got your divisional home games there. Your other home games, Jacksonville, 13 wins last year. New England, 14 wins last year. Even the Saints, arrow pointing up with Tyler Shuck. Jets should be a relative easy game, but Eagles is a big-time opponent. Buccaneers, we'll see if they can bounce back. And then on the road, divisional games again. You got Atlanta, the Bills. That'll be a juicy game. Carolina, Miami, and then the defending champion Seattle Seahawks. So I do think could be the opening game of the season. I think Thursday Night Football on NBC could very easily be Bears Seahawks in Seattle, because I'm telling you right now, the Bears are going to lean, or the NFL are going to lean into the Bears. They're going to put them in a lot of primetime slots. How many primetime games have the Bears been in over the years when we've sucked? Now that the Bears are good and exciting and play this fun brand of football, they have a star at quarterback on and off the field, they're going to lean into them quite a bit. They're going to be in primetime a lot. And so to Graziano's point, not only is Caleb Williams a talent capable of being in an MVP conversation, he's going to get to showcase it a lot in games where no other games are going on. So we'll see if he can improve enough and be in the conversation at the end of the year. How about any time in his career? Will Caleb Williams win an MVP in his career? Type Y for yes, type in for no. The talent's all there. We saw steps this year. Keep taking steps. You're going to have a chance to do it. And then more Caleb Williams love before we get out of here. Another ESPN analyst. This one, Field Yates, saying that, quote, Caleb Williams will become an All-Pro. This was the final prediction all of the panelists chimed in on this article. There was a ton of good in Williams' second pro season, but still so much room for growth. Williams' completion percentage will be the area that most point to, and I am bullish that number will improve dramatically next season. I agree. The Bears' offense should return mostly intact in 2026, and that familiarity will be instrumental in their franchise quarterback's development. And I think that last point is really key. Why should we be confident that more positive growth, even more year 2 to year 3 than year 1 to year 2 should take place? Well, I think the number one thing is same system. Last year, he had to learn a complicated offense. We've talked about this. Training camp, every day, it's like, couldn't break the huddle, pre-snap penalties. Of course, when you first get back, there's going to be some growing pains, but it's not going to be anywhere near what it was last year. Why? Also, because most of the players are going to be the same. 4 out of your starting 5 offensive linemen, and maybe if it's Theo Benedict, he knows the system, and he played a lot at left tackle last year. All of that is the same. So you're now building even more chemistry since you already know what the offense is. Of course, Ben's going to add new things, and it's going to continue to grow, but you know the basics of the offense. Fundamentals should improve. Caleb talked about it. I am hyper-focused on my footwork and accuracy, and now that he knows the system and what Ben wants, he can really lock in on those things, build the chemistry with his teammates by getting extra work in, and then just natural growth overall. He's a third-year NFL player. Regardless of all this other stuff, you still should be improving at this stage in your career because you're just getting more reps. You're getting more mental and physical reps. You've seen more things. You've seen, X amount of snaps from other defenses, right? It's like anything else in life. The more you do something, the more you should improve. Now, eventually, as an athlete, it goes down because you lose athleticism or arm strength or whatever the case may be, but we are a far way away from that. You should be improving a lot. And most would say year 3 is when you should see maybe the biggest jump of your career. That's when a guy like Josh Allen took off. That's when a lot of players throughout the history of the league really started to make their mark. So I absolutely think because of all those reasons now, am I predicting here today the Bears are going to win the Super Bowl and Caleb Williams is going to win the MVP this year? That would be bold to say. Do I think it's impossible? No, I don't, because he's got the talent. They've got the coaching. If they add the proper pieces on defense, they should be in the mix. They were an overtime away from being in the NFC Championship this year to face the team that won the Super Bowl easily over the Patriots. They're not crazy far away, but at the same time, they can't rest on their laurels. They got to understand where their weaknesses are from a roster standpoint, and Caleb has to take the proper steps forward. Those things happen, they're a Super Bowl contender and potentially an MVP contender. And if your quarterback's an MVP contender and your defense is improved, you're going to win a shit ton of football games and potentially win a Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens. A long way to go. Offseason hasn't even really gotten going yet, but it's not crazy, some of these predictions that are being made by these ESPN analysts. All right, that is going to do it for this edition of Chicago Bears Now. You guys know where to find me on social media. Give me a follow at HGrahamNFL, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on Facebook as well. Search Harrison Graham Chat Sports on Facebook or find the link below in your browser, facebook.com/HGrahamNFL. Posting content over there. Appreciate you guys very much. Bear down. All right.
We got another super chat from Easy Does It 29. Nice name, dude. About Kyle Lewis. We will also include that in the mailbag coming up here as we are doing 2 mailbags on our live show here today. Interesting prospect, Harry.
Who do you mention?
Kyle Lewis.
Kyle Lewis. I
Yeah.
like Kyle Lewis. Still no official ruling in Chambliss. We're
What's
waiting.
official ruling?
We are waiting.
That we are. We are.
All right. We do have a Cullen draft crush, which would be great content for the Bears Now Extra channel if we did launch that. But we got a running back. I got to be honest, I haven't done much work on Jamari Taylor. Tell me about the Virginia Cavalier.
Yeah, former NC Central, former HBCU running back.
You know who went to NC? Oh, nope, never mind. That's incorrect. Tariq Cohen went to NCA&T.
Yes.
Okay, not NC Central. Sorry, go ahead. Continue.
No, listen, I think if you're the Bears, right, and you look at the 1-2 punch that you have with DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monungai, those are clearly your lead 2 backs, right? And you don't need to really, in my opinion, address running back until potentially day 3, where I think there's a lot of value in this draft in terms of running backs, in terms of I would really not put a lot of stock in day 2 running backs. Like Jadarian Price, clearly a day 2 back. Round 2, day 2
He's
back.
probably not getting to 57 anyway.
Jonah Coleman, probably a round 3 guy. I don't love him, but as a round 3 guy, I could see the hype around it. I'll be honest, or day 3, there are some guys that you can choose if you're the Bears. Do you want more of a scat back? Do you want more of a big pounding bruiser? I went with a guy who I think does a little bit of everything. He's not the biggest dude, as you see on screen. He's 5'9", 204 pounds.
Fairly thick, though, at 5'9", over
Yes.
200.
Really good contact balance. I think he's going to be a guy that bounces off of a lot of defenders and somebody, or that was one thing about Monungai that I really liked last year. So he's somebody that's kind of built in that similar mold. Really good vision, footwork in tight spaces. He's not afraid to, like, at the line of scrimmage, kind of pivot on a dime to make a cut for a hole if he sees one. Legitimate nastiness. Harry, I think he's a guy with top-end speed that could get into the 4.3s. So he's a guy that, is pretty strong at the point of contact. I think he's got really good speed. He's a willing pass protector, which is similar to Monungai last year, where, Monungai's technique and everything wasn't the greatest, but over, I think, the course of the season, he did get better as a pass protector. I think Jamari Taylor's kind of built in that same elk in which, again, given his size and everything, he's not going to be the greatest pass protector in the world.
43 catches this year, too.
Yeah, he's more of a guy that you're not going to have as a, hey, we're going to split you out wide and have you run like an option route to try to get open. But he's a guy that you can throw the ball to out of the backfield. He also has kick return flexibility, so you could potentially add him as a returner, not as a punt returner, but just as a kick returner, although he did play, I think, some special teams where he was in punt coverage, if I'm not mistaken. Really good burst. I think he's durable. Doesn't have a lot of fumbles throughout his career. Again, size limitations, pass protection technique. Doesn't have the greatest initial burst. Like, his long speed is where he really gets. So, like, once he gets up to top speed, that's where he really thrives. And then, again, he's had a lot of tread on the tires, but you see the 1,000-plus yards that he rushed for at Virginia. About, I think, over 600 of those were after contact.
Okay.
So he's a guy that doesn't go down at first contact. And, again, not the greatest route runner. I think for a day 3 guy with that potential flexibility to be a kick returner, contribute on special teams, and just your really role for him would be, okay, if DeAndre Swift or Monungai were to miss a game, can he step in and be a, complimentary back in a 1-2 punch? I think he can, and somebody on day 3 that you could potentially look at getting, I think he fits that mold for Chicago.
I like that. What do you think, like 5th round?
Probably around that, yeah. I think Senior Bowl, he had a pretty solid day. Again, checks a lot of boxes, Probably wouldn't go 4th, but yeah, 5th round seems about right.
Okay.
May get drafted later. Again, just came from a small school. Does have a lot of tread on the tires. He's also an older prospect too. I'm trying to find the age. I think he's going to be either 23 or 24 when the draft comes around. So, like, again, he's been in college for a while. He had a redshirt year, and he also had a COVID year. So he's a 6-year
college guy.
6-year senior. So, again, you're not banking on this guy to be the future of your running back room, but
Throw him into a rotation.
I think he's somebody that can contribute. So, again, I didn't necessarily, because there was a couple of different ways you could go to with this position. Like, do the Bears want to add size and kind of a bruiser? Do they want to add more of a scat back? I think Jamari Taylor gives you a nice blend of everything where he's going to be able to, the moment he gets into training camp, at least compete, contribute on special teams, maybe fight and push Monangai for RB2.
All right, I like it. I like it. Someone in the chat, by the way, asked me, Harrison, were you at TCU when Andy Dalton was there? No, my freshman year was 2012. He graduated 2010 when they won the Rose Bowl over Wisconsin. The main quarterback I had when I was there was Trevon Boykin, who was an electric college player. Got into some trouble at the end, but
just a little bit.
My last 2 years in college, we went 23-3, so that was pretty fun.
Seahawks legend, Trey.
We also got, yeah, that's right. We also got screwed by the College Football Playoff Committee the first year it existed. Real ones remember. Okay. Good stuff, Cullen. Cullen draft crushes every Monday and Thursday, although we don't have a live show this Monday, so that'll return in a week. So stay tuned.
What position do you guys want me to look up next?
Let's go. Let's go.
Let me
Let
know.
us know.
We can run through some of the other ones. Casey.
Want to do a have we done receiver yet?
I haven't done receiver.
Let's do receiver.
Dude, there's a lot of
It's a
receivers.
deep-ass receiver draft.
By the way, I need to talk
We
to
may have
you.
to go deep in the duffel bag because there's some
We can go deep because, again, you're obviously not going to target a major one, I don't think. But I'll say this. I think my top 5 in terms of receivers might be changing.
Really?
Yeah.
Save that for the draft crush discussion as well. You
I
can mention that too.
Listen, talk to our guy Jack Sperry. Does a great job doing our draft coverage.
Oh, is it the guy he likes? Omar Cooper?
He's a first-round guy to me.
He's good, man.
The 4 we've talked about, plus him, I think my order's changed a little bit.
Okay.
I also need to talk to him because he thinks Denzel Boston is just Mike Williams, and that's just not true.
No,
It's not true.
He's got better speed than Mike Williams.
He also
I
returns
think.
punts.
Yeah.
Mike Williams would never do that in his life.
Fuck Mike Williams.
Mike Williams,
actually.
there's the thing.
If you watch the show, you can come on anytime.
Talented player. Denzel Boston is
He
not
clears.
Mike Williams. Yes. So we'll get in that discussion, but that's something we're going to talk off camera. But we'll get into a full receivers. There's a couple that I've already kind of got in my mind, but
dude, there might be like 40 drafted. It's so deep.
So many.
Which is why, I'm not saying some 4th round pick is going to replace DJ Moore, but you could find a guy in the 4th or 5th round that contributes right away at receiver in this draft.
Yeah. I think if you're just top of the head, defensive tackle, linebacker, receiver. Those are the 3 that are really deep
positions.
Really deep.
I agree.
My
receiver's probably the deepest.
Probably, yeah.
I saw Daniel Jeremiah had 11 receivers in his top 50. Big board.
Doesn't shock me. Does not shock me.
And there were guys that didn't make the cut that I were like, it could go top 3 rounds.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like running back last year, I feel like, where there's going to be day 2 value into day 3 at receiver, which is kind of ideal for the Bears if they want to add someone. I probably wouldn't take someone day 1 or day 2, but 5th round, you might get a guy that you had top 100 on your board. You know what I'm saying?
Which kind of receiver do you think would make sense for the Bears? Because, to be honest, they don't really need a lot in the room. Maybe you get another X-style receiver to back up Roma Dunze, but
I'd probably try to find someone who's good after the catch because I think Ben likes that in general. Yeah. You're going to lose some of that if you move off of DJ.
That's very true.
If Jade Walker's on the team, he also has decent size with Rome, so I don't think you need an X type. I don't think it has to be a pure gadget guy, but I would want someone with speed.
Yeah,
someone who has a part-time role, but when he's on the field, you have to account for his speed.
100%. Like he gets the ball in his hands. And he's
Like
just a
honestly,
playmaker
that
off the catch.
UConn guy that Kuiper loves, if he was there in like the 4th or 5th round, like I'd be cool with him. Skylar Bell, is that his name?
I
Something
think
like
that sounds right. Yeah,
He's pretty electric with the ball. Someone like that. But like I'm not married to that idea. I just know A, that's what Ben likes, and B, if you're drafting a receiver, it's probably not a guy that's going to be a full-time starter. So like if I'm looking at someone who excels in one area, it's probably like someone who could break a game open.
DC, as somebody who watched a lot of years of Tyler Lockett, that's not what he's saying. I think Lockett was a guy that really thrived on, his crisp route running, getting open, finding the soft spots in the zone.
Yeah,
like
he wasn't really a burner.
he wasn't a burner, and
He was fast, but he wasn't a burner.
he also wasn't a guy that really got you a lot after catch. In fact, he was known for going down and preserving his body after his leg injury that he had. So
yeah,
you're kind of almost looking for. I'm trying to think of a really good comp here. I will say this: Omar Cooper on the Bears, Harry.
He'd be electric. In a vacuum, I'd take him at 25. You've got bigger needs, but like I'm saying, if you didn't have bigger needs, I think he'd be worth taking at 25.
And I'm clearly again, I'm not the first one on this. Him after the catch, who he reminds me of?
Who?
Jamar Chase.
Really? Wow.
The second he gets the ball in his hands, which again, he is aggressive at the catch point. He made a catch against Oregon near the sideline where he kind of one-hands one.
Yeah.
A defender's hitting him in the back as he's catching, and he's able to break off that tackle, spin out of another, and dive forward for a 9-yard gain. When he gets his hands,
he's better than Surratt,
dude.
The other Indiana receiver,
which is again really good.
Surratt's a good player too.
Good player, but dude, Omar Cooper, the second he gets the ball in his hand, he reminds me so much of Jamar Chase.
Wow.
Like when he just. Because you'll see this at times with running backs too. They'll catch the ball out of the backfield, but they're not really dangerous after the catch in terms of making people miss. Omar Cooper, that might be his best attribute.
Is he top 3 for you?
We'll discuss later.
Okay.
We'll discuss later.
By the way, your last draft crush cracked Brugler's top 100.
Yeah, Casey. I think he's somebody that one thing I forgot to mention.
Late day 2, early day 3.
I think he's a guy that can be flexible tackle or guard.
Okay, that's good to know.
I think given. He's 6'5", so you could add some potential frame on there. And again, he doesn't have the.
That's the
anchor.
number one thing I'm looking for, 3rd round and beyond out of O linemen. One of two things: either one, you have crazy upside and you're just taking a swing, kind of like they did with Amagaji, and that flopped, but he had crazy measurables. Or this guy may not be a high level starter, but he could play 3 or 4 positions.
He is technically sound. If there's one thing about Casey, if you give him the chance to learn whatever scheme that you're putting him into, technically sound, his footwork, his just where to kind of place his hands.
Chambliss won the injunction.
Ooh, let's go.
He is back.
Yeah. Good for him, too.
The NCAA, though, is likely to appeal.
Yeah, so this is never going to end.
I just don't get, why is this a battle worth, I get it, you can't just let everyone play forever, but, you gave Diego Pavia extra eligibility.
It's inconsistent.
Yeah, it's
it's inconsistent.
We have guys playing 9 years. This guy didn't play for a whole year, and there's a decent amount of evidence it was because of a legitimate medical situation.
Yeah. I think, I'd completely
ban the NCAA. It's a joke.
But yeah, just
my idea that I saw it and I'm running with it. Everyone gets 5 years, but that's it. There's no medicals. There's no red shirts. Everybody gets 5 years. You can leave after your 3rd year like you can now. That way there's no gray area. Well, this guy missed 10 games over 3 years. It doesn't matter. Everybody gets 5 years. Would we not? I think we'd all sign up for that. There's no he had 2 seasons. It doesn't matter. Everybody gets 5 years. It used to be 4. Now guys playing 7 years. No, everyone gets 5 years, and that's it. We get rid of the red shirt thing. There's no medical red shirts. Because now there's a new they're going to pass the red shirt rule. You could play up to 9 games in a year. Well, why not just give everybody a 5th year then?
Exactly.
What's the difference?
I understand giving them a 5th year because again, injuries happen, stuff happens where you're just not able to play. Totally fine giving an athlete 5 years of eligibility.
Or the old red shirt, some guys are coming to college and it's they're just not physically ready.
Right, they need to get in the weight room.
In a strength. So just 5 years blanket for everyone. If the guy's not ready to play as a freshman, well, that's just one of his 5 years. It's not a, quote, red shirt. You just get rid of that phrase.
Michael Frazier also came with a super chat during that time. All three of our most recent super chats we're going to include on this mailbag coming up. I just ran through some of my draft crushes. We're going to be talking wide receivers next week on Thursday's live show. Stay tuned in for that. But, yeah, some good stuff. I truly think, like, get back to the one last thing on the running back thing. You get into the top 5 running backs in this class, I think 4 and 5 you could debate, are they round 3 guys? That's how, like, uninspiring this running back class is. It just is.
That's why the Bears, at least getting Monangai in the 7th last year was huge, because, like, they'd almost have to sign somebody if they didn't.
Yeah, and which there'll be some free agent guys that maybe they add. Like, it wouldn't blow me away or it wouldn't shock me if Ryan Poles said, hey, you know what? We do want to add a 3rd running back into this room. Do we go get an Isaiah Pacheco for cheap or something?
Yeah.
Vet minimum deal just to, like, hey, worst case scenario, if Swift or Monangai aren't able to go.
This guy can handle carries.
Exactly. And you trust him to run a basic NFL offense. So, cool.
All right, let's wrap this thing up. One more mailbag, #Bears or Super Chat to get on the show. We'll answer questions for 10, 12, 15 minutes, and then we will wrap it up.
We will
throw that.
We'll answer that, or we'll answer that after.
I'll verbalize it now. Aaron Wolf, do you think Tesla and SpaceX are going to merge? I have no idea. I know they're 2 tech vehicular companies run by Elon Musk. Beyond that, I don't know the inner workings of the business model.
We'll dive more into that after this mailbag.
Sure. I'm not up to speed on that situation. So, all right, let's dive into it. I'm Harrison Graham. Let's rip a Chicago Bears Now mailbag here. It's Riverboat Polls saying, if the Bears cut or trade DeAndre Swift, could they sign Kenneth Gainwell? This is an interesting thought because Kenneth Gainwell quietly had a really good season for the Pittsburgh Steelers, as he had over 500 yards rushing and almost 500 yards receiving. He had over 1,000 all-purpose yards. Kind of became the lead running back in terms of, like, snaps for the Steelers. I'd have to actually look at the raw number, but it seemed like he was more productive than Jaylen Warren overall, certainly as a receiving back. That would certainly be interesting. You save $7.5 million if you cut or traded Swift. What would Gainwell cost? I mean, is he probably like a $5 million player? That feels right. Like 2 for 10 for Kenneth Gainwell, 7 guaranteed, maybe. Monangai is your lead rusher, then Gainwell is kind of your change of pace back. Would I risk what you got going for, like, do I feel better about that if you're only saving a few million bucks? I don't know. I think Swift gives you more as a runner for sure. Gainwell might give you a tick more as a receiving back, but if you wanted to just go cheaper at the position, maybe you draft a guy too, bring that guy along. You certainly could go that route. I think the bigger part of this question is, like, are you keeping DeAndre Swift or not? And so I'll ask you guys, will DeAndre Swift be on the Bears next season? Type Y for yes, or you can type in for no. I would say it's more likely yes than no. $8.8 million cap hit for a guy who had over 1,300 all-purpose yards. I think that's more than worthwhile. He's not a perfect player, but I think his production this past year meets what he is currently making. So I'd be cool running it back with Swift and Monangai in 2026. All right, Will Edwards, is it possible we draft a top 5 defensive tackle and a top 5 safety with our current 1st and 2nd round picks without trading? Caden McDonald and A.J. Halsey or Thiedemann maybe? Yeah, it is certainly possible. You almost are guaranteed a top 5 defensive tackle at 25 if you pick one there. You know, you got Peter Woods, Caden McDonald, Lee Hunter, obviously, who am I missing here? Caleb Banks is in there as well. A couple other guys, at least 1 or 2 of those get to 25, I would imagine. And then 2nd round, to your point, Thiedemann, it sounds like he's gaining steam. I don't think he gets to 57, but Halsey could get there. Zakee Wheatley could get there out of Penn State. Like, you're going to have options. And my guy, Cullen Brown, is giving me one of these. Maybe a future Cullen draft crush. Who knows? But, yeah, I think it is possible because safeties, you know, it's not a premium position, so those guys kind of can drift back So, yeah, you could go DT round 1, safety round 2, and get a top 5 player at each position in this draft. Definitely a possibility. Okay, ER. Kyle Lewis looks like a stud. Is he worth a day 2 pick? You guys are the best. I think 89, he's worthwhile. I think 57 is probably too high because he's a little undersized even for modern day linebackers. He's listed at 220. Now, can he get up to about 230? I'd be comfortable with him as an every down linebacker at 230. 220 is kind of tough. It's still a physical game, obviously, but really good coverage player, has that safety background, had a great Senior Bowl week. So, yeah, I think he's a player to monitor day 2. He certainly has improved his stock over the past few weeks. All right, shout out to Ethos for sponsoring today's show. Now, listen, folks, life insurance is not a fun topic to talk about, but it's important, especially if you're like me and you have a family, you got a child at home, you got a wife. Thinking about their livelihoods made it easier to discuss, and I'm so glad I found Ethos as my life insurance provider. I carry a lot of responsibility in my household. If something happens to me, there's real consequences, like mortgage payments, tuition, everyday bills that don't just disappear. Life can throw you curveballs, and it's best that you stay prepared. With Ethos, you can get life insurance in as little as 10 minutes. They have no medical exams, just a few easy health questions online. You can get same-day coverage without ever leaving your house. You can get up to $3 million in coverage, and some policies are as low as $30 per month with Ethos. As of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. Check it out today. Help protect your family with life insurance through Ethos. Get an instant and free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That is ethos.com/NFL Daily. Ethos.com/NFL Daily. Application times and rates may vary. Check out Ethos today. Okay, Michael Frazier with the 5. Appreciate it. Tell me why everyone's saying, quote, keep DJ are the ones chanting, sign Hendrickson and make all these other signings. This isn't Madden. Well, okay, look. You could keep DJ and restructure him. If you do a max restructure, it saves 16.8. A trade saves 16.5. And you're saying, well, why not just do that? And sure, I'd be open to that. I'm fine with that. But it's not apples to apples. Because if you trade DJ and save that money, you're not kicking money down the road on your cap. Like you're cutting the head off the snake, if you will, right? You're cutting your losses. You eat $12 million this year, save 16.5, but then he's off your books moving forward. If you restructure DJ, depending how big of a restructure you do, again, up to $16.8 million in savings, you're putting that money on future years of his contract. So next year, you're in this same position, except for his cap hit is actually higher than what it would be currently this year, which is $28.5 million, which clearly I don't think he's playing under that cap hit this year. So they will either restructure or trade him, unless he would just take a pay cut, which that would be great if he'd be willing to do that. I don't think he will. So don't let people tell you it's apples to apples for those saying, well, just restructure. It's the same. It's the same for this year, but it's not the same for the long-term health of your roster construction. So I do just want to make that point clear for those just saying restructure it. Well, yeah, you can, and I'm open to that, but it's not the same as trading them. Okay, Ben, why haven't we re-signed Byard yet? I would not worry about this. It's early. The combine's not even here yet. I could see it happening around then when agents and executives and GMs are all in Indianapolis and these conversations start to take place. Free agency doesn't start. The tampering period's not till March 9th. That is still almost a month away. So I would not be concerned with that. I still think this happens before free agency. I think this probably happens before the end of the month. So be patient. These teams are, they're preparing their offseason plans right now. They're putting together their scouting on free agents and drafts and their own players and figuring out, are we keeping this guy? Are we cutting this guy? There will be movement, but we're just not quite there yet. Okay, speaking of that, though, it'll be here soon. The offseason is going to pick up, and we're going to be here for all of it. Daily videos, live watch parties during the season, live shows during the offseason as well. Much more as well. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and never miss an episode or a live stream. Okay, DC Viper, is TJ Parker a first-round pick for the Bears, or could you see him fall to the second? Would you maybe consider trading up for him if he does fall out of round 1? I think if Parker has a solid combine, he's a first-round pick. He had a really good Senior Bowl week. I think he's a high floor, mid to high ceiling guy. right now he's a physical edge who sets the edge in the run game and wins as a pass rusher with his strength and length. If he can add some secondary pass rush moves, even just one, if that can develop, he could be a really good pro. If he doesn't, he's probably just a solid pro. But I think right now, if he has a good combine, he doesn't have any egregious testing or some off-field issue we don't know about, to me, he's like a guy you take in the 20s in a draft like this. I think a strong Senior Bowl week kind of reaffirmed, okay, he's a good player, didn't have a great season this year at Clemson, but a lot went wrong for that football team. Okay, William Bomer, should the Bears trade for Jordan Davis? I haven't seen this out there. It's not the worst thought, though. I mean, if the Eagles are going to pay Jalen Carter soon, is Jordan Davis a guy they could just let go? Is he going under his fifth-year option? Let me look this up real quick. I would guess so because I haven't seen him on any free agent lists. Yes, so fifth-year option, $12.9 million. Is Jordan Davis worth $12.9 million? Really good run stopper. Not going to give you a ton as a pass rusher. Let's see what PFF, how they graded him this year. 72 overall, 72 against the run, 62 pass rush. Did have 5 sacks, actually. Now it's per PFF. They count half sacks as full sacks. So I'm guessing it's probably more like 4 sacks. I'm just scanning the internet here, folks. 4.5. That's actually a pretty good number for him. $12.9 million. Fourth round pick. You take a fourth for Jordan Davis. Maybe you extend him on a relatively reasonable deal. I don't know. I'd love to know what he would get on an extension. Like, I'm not giving him $20 million per year, but could you get him for like 3 for 36, $12 million a year? That's an interesting thought, William. I'm going to think about that one more. Which are you more excited for? More, either way. D for draft, F for free agency, as those are the 2 big events of the offseason. Let me know. I'm curious. Most years we'd say draft, but maybe this year it's free agency. Okay, Tom, a couple more here. Who do you think is the best defensive tackle in the draft? I don't think there's a clear answer to that. From what I've seen and watched, and I'm curious what Cullen thinks about this, so feel free to chime in here, Cullen, if you want to hop on real quick. I think the highest ceiling guy is Banks. Now, who's the best one right now? I think that's up for debate, but I think if Banks' medical clears, I think he's got the highest ceiling if he's healthy.
I think Banks certainly has the ceiling. I really like Caden McDonald. I think that if you draft him, probably has one of the higher floors, safer bets. He's got, really athleticism that translates to the NFL, good size. Like, you can't go wrong. If Caden McDonald's there, I mean, I'm as big of a Lee Hunter guy as there is out there. I think if McDonald's there, you have to take him. So I'd probably, if I was ranking defensive tackles that the Bears could, potentially draft, I'd probably have McDonald 1, Banks because of his upside at 2, Hunter 3, and then you can kind of get into some of the other guys that could be available.
Where do you have Peter Woods? 4, probably?
Probably 4, yeah.
Didn't have a great year this year.
Which, I mean, hey, not to say that he wouldn't be potentially in play. Like, if the Bears go down there and, Dennis Allen's adamant that he thinks Peter Woods could be somebody that could contribute, I wouldn't have a problem with him taking it in round 1, but he'd be probably out of those 4, my 4th.
Combine will be big for him because coming into this year, he was viewed as a top 10 pick, and kind of like what's-his-face, Parker, just didn't have a great year. So,
yeah.
Be interesting. Zach Fine, thoughts on Gabe? Is it Yakus?
Or Akis.
Akis. Hakus? Is there an H in there?
No, just A. Just Akis.
Akis, okay. From Illinois. I should know this, Illinois guy.
Versatile edge.
Where do you like him? Day 2?
Yeah, probably more as a round 3 guy.
Okay.
I think that there is some room for growth there, but he's more fit as a 3-4 edge, but he's got room to put also size on, so Dennis Allen would have to have a vision for him, I think.
All right.
Not terrible, but I think
a
really good player, somebody that could easily be taken on day 2.
Okay, there you go. Appreciate all the questions. Shout out to Colin for chiming in there. We will do more of these mailbags throughout the offseason. You can also find me on social media. I'm going to catch up on DMs this weekend. That's my goal. At HGramNFL, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You can find me on Facebook too. If you're searching in your web browser, facebook.com/HGramNFL gets you right to my page. You can hit that follow button. If you're in the app on your phone, just search Harrison Graham Chat Sports. I'll pop up. So Give me a follow. I'd appreciate it. Bear down. All right, Harrison's new crib. Do you think Tesla and SpaceX emerge? No idea. I don't know if that would qualify as a monopoly. No idea how that works. Don't really have a strong thought or even feel for if that's even something that makes sense or is possible or has been discussed. Maybe there'd be some tax benefits for Elon if they merged. I actually don't know the answer to that, but
Yeah.
I think Elon's going to be just fine. He's got plenty of money. So,
That he will.
don't have a strong take on that.
So, a little just more on Gabe Akis, because I've seen this just kind of circulated. Obviously, Illinois Bears, like there's going to be some thoughts there. Just to give you kind of a quick rundown, he's 6'3", 260 pounds, got 32 and a little over a half-inch arms, 6/8. Does have kind of small hands though at 8 3/8. So
that's pretty small.
Yeah, so not the
great
greatest.
arm length either. So yeah, that does feel more like a 3-4 guy.
Feels like more of a 3-4 guy. Former state champion wrestler, so he's really able to kind of get off blocks and really use his hands and everything. Super athletic, natural power generator, relentless motor. Like there's a lot of good things to like. Needs to develop his pass rush repertoire. Hand technique can be, while he's good at using his hands, his technique's not always the greatest. He sometimes can get a little grabby. And he is a little hip stiffness. Like he's not really a fluid edge rusher. But if you're a 3-4 defense, maybe take him, round 3.
Okay.
I think he could contribute. I just don't think in Dennis Allen's version of defense, he'd be an ideal fit.
Yeah. He doesn't really check any of the physical bars or boxes. 6'3", 260, I'd say that's passable in a DA system, but sub 33-inch arms, small hands.
A lot to like there. I just not in this specific scene.
Maybe not a great X's and O's fit. That's all.
But I mean, hey, could contribute. So, TJ says favorite Nintendo exclusive game series.
I mean, it's hard to go wrong with any of the Mario ones, right? If you want to go old school, I was a big Mario Party guy as a kid growing up. Love Mario Kart, obviously, as well. Really just any games under the Mario branch, can't really go wrong with. Outside of Mario, I'm trying to think what else I would have played, like Nintendo exclusive.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard because I guess Pokemon is Nintendo exclusive too. Huge Pokemon guy growing up, especially like the handhelds.
I was actually more as I got older, a Pokemon guy. I wasn't really exposed to
the new games were good too. I haven't played in the last few years, but even into my 20s, the new games are still good. So
did a lot of the Pokemon Go. I don't know if you participated.
I was in on that. It was wild time.
Wild times during
wild time. That was fun. It's kind of impressive the staying power Pokemon's had. It's been 30 years.
Some things never go out of style.
Became a thing in early 90s. So Star Fox, it's a good call.
Michael Frazier.
Super Smash Bros, by the way.
Yeah.
Classic.
I hate to sound like a hater, but keeping DJ on a contract for another 4 years at $27.5 million doesn't make sense with him coming off a 700-yard season.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, that's not being a hater. And I think he could be more productive elsewhere. It's just a crowded room. And I don't think he's a number one anymore. And so, again, you can restructure. And if that's the route they go, I'm not going to rip the Bears for. The only thing I would rip the Bears for if they just do nothing. And he plays at $28.5 million. There's just no logic to that. So you got to at least restructure. But, yeah, I think if you're confident in Rome and Luther moving forward, because Loveland's the real deal too, then I feel like this is a good time. I hate to use the phrase cut your losses, but Tate we can get in a trade and have him be off your books after this year for the most part. There might be a little dead money in future years, but it decreases significantly after the season. So I don't know what they're going to do. I'm confident that he won't play for $28.5 million cap hit, but yeah, I would just hate if they brought him back and Luther was a part-time player again. And now, look, clearly there was some playbook thing. Like, he's got to mature and take that next step, but he's got a full offseason now.
Yeah.
Like, if you're confident in him and his work habits, which, again, I'm not in the building, but seems like that all was fine, then let's go. Luther Burden was so much, even with some of the playbook issues, he was by far your most efficient receiver. Like, when he got opportunities, he was near the top of the league in yards per route run this year.
Right. He was stupid efficient.
Yeah, I mean, like, that efficiency will go down a little bit with more snaps, but, like, he can – would anyone out there be shocked if Luther Burden had a 1,200-yard year next year? I'm not saying that's going to happen, but, like, if I had to bet who's more likely to clear 1,000 yards next year, Luther Burden or DJ Moore, I think I'd take Luther Burden.
I especially feel – I think if you're a Bears fan, you should feel confident in him with being under Ben Johnson.
Yes.
Because I think
Antoine Randall L. too.
That too.
He is if you want to make a Lions comp, they're not the same caliber player, but Jamison Williams early in his career, it was like, you know, there were whispers like, does he study hard enough? Does he love this and that? Well, he kind of just kept maturing. Randall L. was in his ear, and he broke out, right? Yep. Burden is already further along than Jamison Williams was as a rookie. And so you have him in his corner. I just think that there's no limit for how good Burden can be. And I don't want to limit his role. Now, he's got to earn a full-time role. I understand that, but, like, if he's engaged, like, I mean, that Niners game, he was the best player on the field, and it wasn't even close. It was not close. And I got news for you. There's a lot of talented players on the Bears and the Niners this year. And he was the best player in that game. So that was just kind of a example of, like, he can take over games. Like, he's one of these players, I compare it to, like, an NBA shooter getting hot. Like, he can get hot as a player where it's like he just had 5 touches in a 6-minute span for 75 yards. It's like, fuck did that come from? So you can just get him the ball in a lot of different ways. So, yeah, and DC says, I want Rome and Luther Burden to improve, and I would want to see what Walker could do as well. I mean, I'm not trading DJ Moore because of Jade Walker, but he's a nice guy to have. I think he could be in the mix to be your third receiver. I don't think you would just give him that role, but, like, maybe you re-sign an Olamide Zaccheaus for $2 million, and him and Jade Walker compete for your third receiver role. Like, it's perfectly fine because your 3 primary pass catchers are going to be Loveland, Rome, and Burden. Like, we've said that since, like, week 7. It's like the future is those 3.
Yeah.
So, like, that's what I would lean into.
100%. I think maybe a specific DJ Moore Bears Now episode, like another one, maybe in the works soon. I just feel like, obviously, there's going to be a lot of rumors throughout the offseason until the Bears ultimately decide what they want to do with DJ Moore, but maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe some other video talking about DJ, because I feel like just a lot of
more
Bears
proclamation of what I would do. Like, I would trade him. Like, I'm not going to throw a fit if they restructure him, but, like, I think it makes more sense short and long term to trade him.
Yeah.
So, see what happens.
All right.
What happens.
All
right, guys. Good show. This was fun. Thanks for the feedback on the Bears Now Extra YouTube channel idea. That I wouldn't say that's in the works per se, but it's something I've been thinking about. Also, the merch link is in the chat. I will throw it back in there. 25% off. Chatsports.com/Bears shop. We won't shop through it all, or go through it all, but you got the new drinking team, St. Patty's themes, along with the whole collection, Iceman, FGB, Our Turn, Took the North. It's all there. So link is in the chat. 25% off through Monday. So you got a few days here through Monday. Check it out. Chatsports.com/Bear shop with more to come, by the way. So stay tuned for that. Appreciate Colin for producing. We'll be back with more content tomorrow to have you guys covered off for the weekend. So bear down, everybody.